Good evening, campers. How's everybody doing? Good afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning, whatever it is where you is. Welcome to the program. I'm Tom Connors. This is Midnight's Edge After Dark. With me on this show tonight, we have the Orange Man himself. Not that one, but the other one. Clobbering Times. How you doing?
Hey, Tom, thanks for having me. Good to be here with this august group here on this panel. And hello, fantastic chat. Let's have some geek fun tonight. Thanks for having me.
Hells yeah. Also joining us, of course, from the Great White North is Mr. CC Karaoke. How you doing?
Hello there. Well, in better times, I would have woken up at the crack of dawn last weekend and soaked in all the Star Wars, and it would have just been a highlight of awesomeness. But sadly, we do not live in those better times.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a funeral. So
yeah, we'll get into that maybe. But I feel your pain to a point, but I've had to just numb it with drugs.
I wish I could.
So, and then we also have with us a Canadian who actually is a Scotsman pretending to be Canadian.
Hoser.
Mr. 70s rock fan. Hey, don't you call me a hoser.
Good evening, everybody. Hope you're all having a great evening. I too would also love to get up at the crack of dawn, but I don't know dawn that well. So
I'll put in a word for you.
Panned out the way you wanted it to.
So yeah, I hope you're all having a great evening. It's a lovely it's the snow is gone here, but what we have instead on the prairies is high winds and sort of muddy brown gray.
You know,
nothing's green yet. So
this has been a good year in Wisconsin. We went from winter to 75 degrees. I'm like, if we can do that from now on, great. We'll see how long it lasts. We'll probably have snow by Thursday, but
well, exactly. Make the most of every day, I say.
No, I'm not mumbling again. That was Rock Fan. He's diddly diddly potatoes over there.
Diddly 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 potatoes.
You might have to turn the translation on. No, I'm just kidding. We got to pick on you.
Well, I'm okay with that. Hey, better to be picked on than not talked about at all, I believe. To paraphrase Oscar Wilde.
And Culture's just over there. He's just glad it's not him at this moment in time.
So
but he's not immune. It'll come.
Mm-hmm.
Also joining us, of course, is Mr. Culture Casino. How you doing?
Great. I'm good. I feel like I've got to hang out with you already, Tom. I'm happy.
I did see you earlier, and I was sitting on some news earlier, and we're not going to sit on it any longer.
Oh, okay.
I've got two sources now.
Isn't that what the Fonz used to say? Sit on it.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Sit on it.
That was the joke I was making.
Oh,
and then you went over it.
I explained your joke and talked over you at the same time.
I'm done. I'm leaving. Joke ruined.
You know, do you guys know? I'm sure at least one of y'all know where the Fonz came from, right? Like where Henry Winkler was inspired by, where he basically stole the persona from.
Wisconsin.
Yes.
It was just a wild guess.
No, it's an actual individual.
Oh, jeez.
Am I the only one here who knows this story?
You must be.
Wow. I can't believe Clobby doesn't know this.
I don't know. I mean, it's not ringing any bells.
Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. Okay, well, you ever heard of the movie Lords of Flatbush?
Yeah, that's right. He's in that.
Yeah, okay, there was a movie called Lords of Flatbush that Henry Winkler was in, and it was filmed back in, what was it, 74, 73, something like that?
Sylvester Stallone's in it.
With Sylvester Stallone, and then they re-released it or brought it out with big to-do after he was the Fonz, trying to pretend he was a big part of the movie.
Yeah, I remember.
He was only in it for a small bit.
ABC showed it, like we all watched it thinking we were going to see the Fonz.
Yeah. But, ironically, years later, Henry Winkler stated where he got the voice, the look, everything for the Fonz.
Oh.
Hey, yo, it's pretty easy to figure out if you think about it. You know what I mean? He stole it all from Sylvester Stallone. He said that was sly. He's like, I just did Sylvester. Did the voice, the leather jacket, the hair, the whole 9 yards. It was all sly. If you watch the Fonz now, you'll never be able to see it any differently than that. You'll be like, he is doing Sylvester Stallone.
Wow. My goodness.
Yeah, I never thought of that, but yeah, it makes sense now.
Yeah,
But it was set in Wisconsin, though, wasn't it?
yes, it was.
Yeah,
Yes, it was.
Yeah, but he wasn't at that time. Sylvester Stallone was not an established, cultural icon by a long shot.
Exactly. It was a couple. It was right around, not to like 76.
You had to know
with,
him, I guess.
Rocky. Yeah.
Right. You had to be someone who was acquainted with him personally, right?
I still want to
Weird,
know what
huh?
happened to Richie Cunningham's brother.
He went upstairs and never came back.
Never
He
came.
was transported to the planet with
He
where
went
Willow
up
takes
the
place.
same stairs that the girl from Family Matters went up.
Yeah,
He was
I'm
in
not kidding.
Superman 3 and Willow, so he was in other dimensions and stuff.
Maybe he had a time traveling portal. That seems to be all
Didn't they
the
ever? I
rage.
could have sworn my dad said they addressed it one time, like they said he was at college or some shit like that.
Hmm.
I think
Maybe.
they probably
And that
did.
was it. Like they just said he was at college one time.
Yeah.
That was it. Never mentioned him again. Just
Poor old Chuck.
yeah. Poor Chuck Cunningham.
I'll never forget him at the Christmas episode where he picks up the wrapped basketball and bounces it and says, "Oh, what? I wonder what this is."
Well, I don't know about the pompadour part, but the greaser role, yeah, he was definitely a greaser back then. Like that whole thing. Well, that was what the Lords of Flatbush was really. About all that. We got some super chats here, and then we've got a bit of news that's not advertised in the title that we're going to get into here. Waltman sends in $4.99 and says, "Timmy Pool buddy, I'm probably going to have to rank you above Grace's hot take on that Super Mario Brothers movie. I mean, geez. Yeah, I don't get this one. I saw this. Did anybody else see this? Like Tim Pool is going
he's
off the
taking a
deep
run
end.
at being the king of bad takes right now.
What's wrong with him?
Yeah.
What
Well,
did he
he's
do?
claiming Super Mario Brothers was a woke fest.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
not. Yeah, he's
really?
not.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's not thinking clearly. But,
Weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did he back it up in
Clickbait.
any way?
mean, pretty weak.
Mm.
It's clickbait. You know, it's taking a position for the sake of controversy.
This is the same guy that said Captain Falcon and Winter Soldier wasn't woke.
Mm.
Yeah, he's not very. Yeah.
So that's weird.
Hey, we got a
Yeah, sure.
Carolyn in the chat. Look at that.
Hey,
Hey,
lovely.
how you
Hey, Kara.
doing?
Kara,
She's never been on Mead. I'll send her the
Oh,
link if she's not busy.
she's
She's
probably
a busy lady.
yeah. She probably knows what this channel is though.
Well, yeah, but I mean, this is more akin to Toxic Femme, where we just go off on shit.
Yeah, you guys were very toxic last night.
Oh, last night was amazing. And I want to thank NZ Greg for being a member for 3 months. Thank you so much. And thank you, D-Bud, for helping out in the background there as well. Let's see here. We've got one more super chat, and then we will get into the program. Ghost of Speedy says Doomcock is a liar. Well, he has a lair. I mean, I don't know if he
does have a lair.
intends to lie, though. I don't think that's the case. But
No, he's not. No.
yeah.
I mean, Mike Zero, maybe. I think we can probably agree on that.
He found that drive.
thumb drive in the parking lot.
In the parking lot.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, suck in your guts. Kara!
Hey,
Hi, guys.
lady. Hello.
How are you?
Hey.
Kara, I don't know who all you've met on the panel, so I'll just introduce everybody. We got Clobbering Time, CC Karaoke, 70s Rock Band, and Culture Casino.
Pleasure to
Hi,
meet you, man.
guys.
Hi.
Great to meet
I
you.
have met Culture and you, and that's it. But now I know everybody else.
Yes.
Hi.
Yes.
Good to
Great
meet
to
you.
see you.
It's good to meet you guys. I am not feeling
How are
great
you
tonight,
doing?
so no
Oh.
camera.
Oh,
Doesn't sound
No
good.
worries. But no, yeah, you can hang out as long as you want.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
We got a couple of news topics to talk about, and then that's about it.
Hey.
I was about to get into this big news I got. I wonder if it's going to go anywhere or not, but we'll find out here in just a minute. We got Tweaky Kid sent in $9.99 and says, I get 2 no, 3 positives of the Marvels trailer. Intergalactic and Bree's appendages towards the end. Never thought the male gaze would be activated by her. We're going to get into that. Did you watch the Marvels trailer yet, Kara?
I watched it without audio because
Lord.
and it was
best
I'm
way
not
to watch it.
interested.
All right. Well, I hope everybody here watched it anyway, because we're going to get into that in a moment. Right after I reveal this little bit of scoop news, whatever you want to call it. Take it with a grain of salt, guys. This is rumor, obviously. but I have it from two sources now that Jonathan Majors has been let go from the Marvel Universe.
No.
Mhm.
Really?
Wow.
Now, of course, this is not something we're going to be able to really confirm probably for a while, because Lord knows they're not going to make an announcement. But what they probably will do is announce his replacement at some point, and or they will just write him out in some way. So yeah, from two sources, I've heard now today that Jonathan Majors is no more in the MCU. So take it with a grain of salt, kids.
Fascinating. Yes.
Not like a big surprise, I don't think, to anybody, but I want to get everybody's response to it. Kara, since you just joined us, what's your response to this breaking news?
I would have waited until after any trials or any charges were actually I would have waited until he was actually convicted of something personally. I think it's them kind of jumping the
If
gun.
this is true, right? Yeah.
If it's true, personally, and like a lot of you guys you guys know my stance on the whole Jonathan Majors thing. Like I like domestic debacles are very touchy situations. And men are assholes. Women are vindictive as hell. So we are very, very petty human beings.
You know, it's funny because it wasn't even planned for you to show up, but we really did break all this shit down on Toxic Femme a couple weeks back. Yeah, so it is kind of ironic.
And I personally think that they jumped the gun, kind of how everybody did with the whole Johnny Depp thing. But if it does come out that he did do these things and he was convicted of a crime, okay, no, like I understand, I accept that, but I think the whole, I think it's way too early to tell.
That's fair.
So that's that. I'm just very hesitant to make any decisions or have any type of opinion until everything is there, because, like I said, domestic disputes are very touchy.
You're not wrong there, and that's totally a fair answer to that. Culture, what's your response to this, if it's true?
Well, I would have to take a look at what his contract says for, any kind of moral perpetuity clause or anything like that. There might be something inside his contract that allows them to release him. But I would be real surprised, as Kara just mentioned, if they don't wait for it to play out a little longer. Could I believe that they would do it? Yes. As a business person, do I think this is, already coming to this point? No, they have room to not worry about this yet. The bigger problem is when this goes to trial, which it will soon, or at least it'll go to its initial hearing. Will that trigger something like, his appearance in Loki season 2, or will it, will they have to reshoot something? There's a lot of questions here. I think for now, it's probably safer for them, in light of what the relationship they destroyed with Johnny Depp, to sit and wait until something significant actually plays out. That's what I think.
Brian.
Yeah, I think I largely agree with Kara and Culture. I mean, the principle should be for every individual, regardless of whether they're a movie star or not, it's innocent until proven guilty. So what exactly is he being fired for? Is it just because he might be spending a lot of time in a courtroom instead of in front of the camera? And maybe, as Culture said, there might be some clauses in his contract or in everybody's contract in Marvel around, being available for certain things, because otherwise it's jumping the gun. Gunn, jumping the gun. And I think it's not a great look if the gentleman in question proves to be entirely vindicated after the process. Then what does that look like? He's lost a major opportunity when he's done nothing, if indeed he is found to be innocent of these charges.
I gotta ask, accent Scottish?
Scottish originally, yes.
He's pretending
yes.
to be
Okay.
Canadian.
I
Don't
do
listen
pretend
to
to
him.
be Canadian, though.
He's a
Eh?
Canadian.
But I mean,
He's
the
a
thing-
spy.
I'm an infiltrator. I brought down Canada from within, although it
Darn
didn't need
interloper.
it didn't need my help.
Actually,
Don't take any candy from him
But just
either.
before Culture makes his point, I wanted to say that surely, though, in the multiverse, there are other Jonathan Majors they could use. So,
well, sure. No,
Oh,
but
yeah.
no, Kara, technically he's a Texan hiding in Canada from Scotland.
yes,
Mm.
It's complicated.
Yes,
I would hide
culturally,
from Texas too.
Yeah, and,
No, I would prefer to be there, but my visa ran out. So,
as
yeah.
as
Go
Maz,
Yeah.
Stars, by the way, go Stars.
as Maz Kanata
No,
said,
no stars, no
Yes.
stars.
Go
Abs,
Stars.
abs fan
Uh,
right here.
Sorry, I've not recognized that name.
Colorado
Are they-
Avalanche.
Are they the AHL? Are they an AHL team or a
Oh,
junior
All right,
Excuse
team?
you?
enough of the
Just
sports
kidding.
ball.
Well,
We're gonna
Brahma Bull,
fight live.
Brahma Bull and I do a hockey show every Saturday night. He's a big Avs fan, so we have a repartee going. So
Okay.
you should
all
join
right.
our hockey show on Saturday
You'll
night.
be outnumbered then.
Then I would be outnumbered, but as a Stars fan, I'm used to being outnumbered. So.
And I resent this hamdinger. I'm Irish.
I am
Yes.
very Irish too,
I-
so I
now-
get it.
So I can tell
tell.
Tom's Irish because he goes diddly 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 potatoes when he speaks.
Well, Kara's got Irish eyes, like you wouldn't believe. So yes, she looks very Irish. But
I'm
anyway,
Irish,
I'm
and
sorry
I-
to derail already.
no,
Uh,
it's
talk
fine.
about hockey all night if you want.
CC, what's your take on this, though?
I'm 50% Irish. That's my take.
Well, besides
Uh,
that,
Which
I mean, off the
50%?
top, off the
you're
top of
also
my
the
head,
whitest man I know besides Script Doctor. What's your point? Like,
I think only Edgar and Johnny Winter are whiter than CC karaoke. But
oh yeah,
but anyway, on this Jonathan Majors rumor,
off the top of my head, I can think of two of Netflix's more well-received series that got completely butchered when they fired people off the allegations. People who went to court, and whether or not they were guilty, they went through court and they were shown to be innocent in their day in court. So that being said, we've got a lot of history at this point to show that it's probably not a good idea to act too quickly. But in the case of Jonathan Majors, you got Marvel that's not really doing very well to begin with right now. And you have Johnny Depp, who is easily replaced, even if not wisely replaced, in the Fantastic Beasts franchise, which would be very similar here with the multiverse. They can just replace him if they want. But as Culture said, they don't have to do it right now. They have time. Things are so much in development, they can put it off for months if they want to. But they could do it and just call it the multiverse. And that would be the end of it.
Klobby, what's your take on this plausible
pretty much-
rumor?
pretty much all been said. I think it'd be a little bit premature if it's the case, but like I said, they can always use some alternate version. They probably, I think someone kind of made a point in the chat. I believe that this might be them. If they jump on this, so they can just use this as an excuse to just use a female Kang, like they sort of did with the Loki show.
God, I hope
Sure.
they don't do that.
I would laugh though if they did. 'cause
That
it's so-
would be
bad.
that would piss off so many people. But obviously Disney doesn't give a fuck anymore.
Well,
Want
exactly.
to blow everybody's minds?
Exactly.
Cast Terrence Howard in the role.
I saw somebody mention that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just we're bringing him back, but he's going to be
back
Kang
there,
now.
circle back.
No, I think you all are
Yes.
making very valid and good points. If this is true, I'm with you guys on the whole due process stuff. I don't think any decision should be made before,
Sure.
his day
I
in court. But
wasn't what that Snyder guy talking about this, that they still hadn't made a decision on him like just a couple days ago.
maybe I don't know. I didn't hear about that. I'm just going off of what
No,
I was
I believe
told
you. I
today,
believe
and
you.
then I checked with another source, yeah. So this is where I'm at. Again, a heavy rumor. Take it with a grain of salt. I agree with you guys to a point. Like I totally understand it from a personal point of view, from a fan perspective, even though I have no horse in this race when it comes to this guy, just from,
Yeah.
just in general, I'm not a fan of cancel culture, especially, before the jury, when the jury's literally still out on this. It hasn't even been
Hire Dave
picked yet.
Chappelle.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
That'll
Great.
fix everything. I'm
Great
Kang.
Kang.
Try to fuck with me and see what happens. That's right.
I think I'd prefer an Eddie
I'm
Murphy.
everywhere.
Eddie Murphy would be better, I think.
Ah, King, man, don't fuck with me.
The character's already ruined anyway by his appearance on Loki and then the crappy Quantumania. So
Well,
that really
and
doesn't
that's the
matter
thing. You bring that up.
Really liked him in Loki.
Did
I
you?
will say I did. I did actually really like his performance in his monologue in Loki.
I thought it was
Like,
cringy.
I didn't see it as that, but I also don't know very much of like the Loki story. I don't know any of that about the multiverse of Lokis.
Well,
I don't know anything.
Right. It's cringy for the character of Kang, who's nothing like he was portrayed in that. And that's just as far as from the comics. As a fan of the character of the comics, that scene in Loki was whoa boy bad. I thought.
Yeah. Like from a ignorant and like from somebody who doesn't know anything about it, I didn't mind it. Like it really didn't. I thought he was good, especially for breaking it up from the whole Sylvie stuff.
Oh, he's a great actor. I think the actor's excellent. I mean, even though the casting, is a stunt casting of a sort, a woke casting sort, but he's a great actor. Nothing against him from that standpoint.
Well, and the only problem with I see Will Smith is a great choice, but do they want to replace one slapper with another? I mean,
if it was Eddie Murphy, they could have a great crossover. They could have Beverly Hills Kang and stuff like that. It would be just awesome.
Well, anyway, so like you guys are right though. Like, I mean, there's plenty of great points here. On the other hand, from what Cece said, yes, you can recast these characters, but look at how bad that panned out for the Beast movie. It did not go well.
It's a little different, because Johnny Depp is such a known.
Well, there's that too, but I mean, there's other aspects to this though.
He was perfect for that role.
Right, like
so
I mean,
perfect.
Who wants egg on their face if it comes at the end of the day where you fire this guy and he's completely innocent? I get that, but I feel like if this is true, there was a decision made for a reason, and I think it's been brought up in the chat and a few other places already, maybe even close to on this panel, to where I think this is the reason why they have to. I'm sure they're getting close to, if not already shooting Loki season 2. The next thing in line is coming up. They're going to have to make a decision. What happens if you've got 2 years worth of crap in the can and this guy is guilty?
I mean, the benefit here is that he doesn't really have the same kind of charisma as Johnny Depp would have had in that role. They're not.
I just
they
see
don't really stand to lose
being
something
forced
huge
here, maybe.
Well,
that's the thing, and I think you're right. Like, here's the thing: is I see a hand being forced here. They probably had to make a decision, and if I have to put my corporate hat on for a second, money says you can recast this guy, and you're better off at the end of the day, regardless of whether he's innocent or not, because then you don't have that shit hanging over you for the next year or so.
But that all depends on the contract, and again, I mean, when it comes to Johnny Depp, I don't care about the Fantastic.
Oh, I'm sure there's a morality clause that they'll get.
I think so too. But Johnny Depp was a bigger deal to Disney because of the Pirates franchise, and they've really cut their nose off in that one.
What they won't do, Culture, here is I don't think they'll announce it publicly, and that's what I was saying at the start of this report.
Maybe,
because that was their problem with Johnny, is they didn't have a reason to announce it, and they still did because there wasn't anything in the pipeline.
They're stuck with him, Tom. The 6 episodes of Loki season 2, supposedly he's in. So and they're done. They're in the can. They shot.
Okay, well in that case, that's what I'm saying is like at this point, whatever's coming up here though, they got to probably make a decision. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to see that show real soon. Actually, Loki I think premieres like later this summer, and it's done. They shot it at Pinewood a year ago. A year ago, June was when this was filming. So, it's supposed to be done.
Yeah, this is my choice here too.
There you go. Good with Carl.
RDJ. He's the only man who can pull it off. Well, we'll have to wait and see how this pans out. Like I said, this is not something, sadly, that we can verify anytime soon, most likely, unless they actually do announce a recasting of him very soon. Again, this is only a rumor. It's a very light rumor at best. That's why we're doing it here on Midnight's Edge After Dark instead of doing it in a video or somewhere else. So take it with a huge grain of salt, kids. That's all I'm going to say on that. We got more Marvels to talk about.
Never trust Tom.
Never trust me. Nikki D has been a member for 23 months. Thank you so much. That's almost 2 years. Thank you so much. OC Giggins says Nintendo saved game industry, maybe movies too. Well, it's doing well for them right now. We'll see how this rolls in the next week or so, but I think the drop off is going to be pretty good for them. It's going to be in that 40-50 percentile, which is going to be great. Gonzalo Bergali gifted 5 whole memberships. Thank you so much, Gonzalo. And then we got Julio Scissors, who also gifted 5 memberships. That's 10 new members. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Eduardo Guerrero says they have apply a Gina Carano on him. Oopsie. Well, and that's another thing too. Like Gina was a lot more innocent than he was, and they had no qualms about distancing themselves from her. So I guess what's good for the goose should be good for the gander in this case. I don't know. Or vice versa, however you look at it. 16-bit mascot says good crew tonight. Hail Midnight's Edge after dark in the chat. Thank you so much. But yeah, I do gotta say I do agree with most of you that due process should be listed here. Am I garbling to everybody else or just to CC?
Garbling.
I
Is it
am?
like you're talking about like your mic crackling?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Fix your shit, Tom.
Yeah.
It's slight, but it's
What-
definitely there.
Yeah. What Kara said.
It was.
You're supposed to
I'll
be
just
a
turn it off.
professional.
Yeah.
I just turned off. I just turned off my thing. No sound effects, kids.
Say now what? Say some more
Hey,
words.
Shh.
Say something.
Something.
Why are you
still-
being difficult?
Still sound a little muffled, and you're cutting out a little.
Am I still cutting out?
No, that's
There
nice.
we
Oh,
go.
yeah,
That's
much,
better.
much better.
Alright.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me.
Hooray!
All right. All right. Everything should be good now. All right. Just no sound effects or voices tonight outside of the ones I can make on my own. So, who watched? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
So,
culture's got
who
you.
watched the Marvels trailer here?
Yes.
I did.
Ooh, yeah, I guess we all did.
Well, they threatened us with it all weekend, I believe. And we finally got it today. And arguably, it's fighting for one of the cringiest things to ever come out of Marvel, I'd say. At least that's my early take on it.
But Tom, I just read a highlight saying or a headline saying that it was the best Marvel movie coming out in years.
Since the
Yeah,
last
probably
Marvel
is.
movie?
No, the best. They're saying it's the best Marvel movie in years.
If those years are restricted to 2023.
You mean the movie that nobody's seen yet?
Mm-hmm. That's I actually just saw a headline earlier saying that it looks to be like the best movie in years.
It's
The
interesting.
bestest ever.
Interesting, Cara, because a lot of the comments under the trailer were awfully similar and said certain things that if someone had chosen to script such a thing, they would have said just those things.
I'm gonna see if I can find that article now, just so I can.
I was
can
actually
show it
looking
to you
for it
guys.
myself too. Yeah. But yeah, so we got this trailer, and I'm not going to show it because every time we've shown trailers lately, we get pulled down.
We'll have to show it.
But yeah, it's Freaky Friday in the MCU now.
I agree with
Yeah.
the chat. It is about time that there were women in movies, and I think this is going to be a major
Right.
breakthrough.
3 women this time. 3 whole women in the movie. Well, one's a child, but yeah.
I mean, the trailer certainly features breaking through, except that she fails in this case.
Mm.
Got to get through that wall.
Yeah. Let's
It's who is this movie aimed at? I wonder. I mean, it isn't for me because neither was the whole
Teenage
Kamala
girls.
Khan. Yeah, neither was the whole Kamala Khan thing. So I'm quite happy to say this isn't a movie for me. So in sense of criticizing it, that would be unfair. But I'm
It
just
wasn't
curious.
made for you.
It wasn't made for me, and I'm willing to accept that. So who was it aimed at? Was it aimed at the, let's say, the Marvel audience that maybe turned out in the a billion people to watch the first Captain Marvel, of which this supposedly is a sequel, but not quite, hasn't got the name. Who is it aimed at? I would ask.
It's aimed at teenage girls, but they hope they can capture the Marvel people as well.
Right.
And I don't think it's going to happen.
Soccer moms. That's about it.
Yeah. However, I mean, as I say, I don't want to. It's not aimed at me, so I won't be seeing it. Well, at least
No.
not paying to see it.
Even I won't be seeing it.
There are some aspects of the trailer which were interesting in a bad way, and certainly it doesn't look like the cringy comedy is worse than ever, and the CGI and effects look like they're continuing a downward spiral. That's just two more technical aspects, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, Ant-Man was supposed to be the best movie in years.
Best
So
MCU action scene
In this,
of the year of three. That's 3 movies. It'll have 3 MCU movies to compete with. 3 MCU movies, and
That's not the one I saw, but I'm looking for it. These are just ones that popped up for me in Google. I'm looking for the actual article.
Oh, I got
well, I mean, I would find it hard to believe it would be the best of any Marvel movie this year.
Not
3
movies.
Not that they'll all be
I found
great,
it.
but Guardians of the Galaxy has got to be better than this.
Yes.
Even if they do,
Even if it's subpar for Guardians.
Yes.
It's gonna
There
be
it is. I found it. It is in the chat now.
oh right, okay, yeah. It looks like the best MCU film in years. Ever. Looks can be deceiving.
Yeah. Marvel's trailer.
It's the third one that I shared.
It's the one
Oh,
at the
okay,
bottom,
gotcha.
Tom. Yeah, one at the bottom. Yeah.
Okay, Marvel's drops. Okay, well, this one's a pretty damning one too. It's like, what movies have you been watching? Like, that's all the
Mhm.
Marvel universe has been, is fun and games lately.
Yeah. What did they not upbeat?
Yeah, they even made a comedy about cancer.
Yes, they did.
Marvel's trailer drops, looks like best MCU film in years. Fuck, whatever, Kate.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
What fucking
Yeah,
trailer
I
did you watch,
audibly laughed whenever, because like we were on our way to go run errands, and this popped up as I was scrolling through on my phone. And I was like, "What did you watch?"
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair, even Grace Randolph was at a loss for words of finding something positive to say about this trailer. You know, and the fact that there are people who can figure out how to cope with how bad it is and write positive things about it is pretty impressive. I when you scroll through the comments of the video, you know, if you get past the obvious bots, you know, that really tells the tale. Not to mention the fact that the thumbs down button is getting a lot of use for this particular thing. But I do have to say, Brie is definitely getting the work in, keeping your arms toned. So.
I mean, Brie is cute. Brie is cute, but I just don't like her as Carol Danvers. I don't think she's superhero.
No.
I think that they could have cast better. I don't hate her.
honestly
She's
think-
just not good as Captain Marvel.
To me personally, like, whatever attractiveness she may have goes out the door with her attitude.
Yeah.
Yes, completely agree.
that's fair.
So I have a question that maybe Clobby will know from a comics perspective. That Monica Rambeau is addressed in the trailer as Captain Rambeau.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a reason for her having such a high military rank?
Well, in the even in the last film, when she was in actually back in WandaVision, when she got brought back from the blip, they were called. She was still a part of that the organization, not Shield anymore. What were they? Oh, what they were called now? She was still part of that organization. She was Sword. She was with Sword. And, before that, she was with that organization, so she was a captain.
So she had a rank, a military rank. Okay,
You
I
know,
wondered where that came from. Yeah,
because she'd been in that with Sword. So.
Sword.
S-word.
Sword.
S-word. She'd been in it with S-word.
Yeah, and that's not. Yeah, and that's Saber Station that they're in at the beginning of this trailer. I noticed.
Yep.
S-words.
Eesh. The hell was that?
That was weird.
All I know is when I kept hearing Captain Rambo, I was just waiting for Rambo to show up. I mean,
Me too. Yeah.
Hey, yo, I got something to tell you.
Now, what
Your
Nick
movie
Fury's doing there?
sucks.
Oh.
Weirdo.
There we
What
go.
Nick Fury's doing there? Well, UHF. We got it all on UHF.
We got it all. Yeah.
UHF.
Yeah, Nick Fury's in the trailer for a whole of 2 seconds.
Is he really Nick Fury?
Well, I think so because he's in space this time. Who knows?
He's
though?
Space Fury.
And the
He's
They
cat.
fucked all that up.
Yeah, he still lost an eye in this one. The eye
Yeah.
grows back
Or
for the next
after,
one.
Oh boy, let me
Or
talk.
after Secret Invasion. Good.
I'm sorry, Clobby. I was just gonna say I was really excited because a whole box of Flurkins got tipped over, and now we've got Flurkin fest in this thing.
Flurkins.
Yeah, we got Flurkin
Yeah.
Flurkins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? That cat could put an eye out. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, there's another movie coming out too, like tomorrow. No, Thursday.
Renfield.
Yeah.
I want to see that one. That one looks goofy.
It's
Yeah.
going to be. The reviews aren't coming in good, so it might be good. So,
Well, I like Nicolas Cage, and if we've learned anything from Mario, don't trust the damn critics.
I like Cage's humor, that
Well-
weird ass humor.
Yeah, and I'm waiting for this line. If it plays, come on, play music.
Put the bunny back in the box.
In the box.
That's what I want.
Yo, I'm Dracula.
Put the
No, it's more like put the neck in my mouth.
Don't say the fucking thing.
Nick Cage is one of the few actors left where it's if he's in
They're
a
like-
movie, I'll watch it.
You suck, and he's like, I know.
Your Nick Cage cracks me up. Well done.
I know.
We
He's
got that.
right.
We have
He's a little more
Sisu this
bitchy,
month
crazy.
too, don't we?
Yes.
Yes,
Next week.
Which one?
Sisu.
Sisu?
It's
Oh yeah.
Is that
yeah.
Seashells by the seashore? What?
I can't remember what country.
Is that the
I
Finland?
think it's Russia. Isn't it?
Finnish.
Russia or
It's
Germany?
Finnish. I thought it was
Finnish,
Finland.
okay.
Yeah.
Finland it's set in. Yeah.
I haven't gotten tickets to either, but I got tickets to go see that new anime, Suzume, this weekend.
Oh.
I'm going to see that on Friday.
I really want to see Air, but I'm expecting that to drop on streaming before we know it. So like,
Yeah, it'll probably be on Apple TV soon. I'm
I
gonna
would-
assume.
or Amazon is what I think produced it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
yeah.
I'd just like to give a plug for the release coming up of the Covenant Guy Ritchie movie with Jake Gyllenhaal. That looks
Oh yeah, that
really
looks good too.
Yeah,
I'm
that one
excited for
going-
that one.
I'm gonna go see that. Yeah.
Well, let's see what we got you guys saying in the chat here. We got Goddess of Whim, who's been a member for 23 months. Thank you for that, Goddess of Whim. We also have Eduardo Guerra, who says, with current trend, RuPaul will end up as Kang. Well,
Okay,
It's
but
not a bad
RuPaul is
choice.
fucking hilarious.
yeah.
It would be funny.
See, and that's where
RuPaul
like
is hilarious. He just fucking
Yeah.
owns it.
they whatever.
Like I love him on Family Feud. I love how he just likes to make people uncomfortable. And he's not bashful about it. But that's just me.
back when drag was actually campy. But anyway, yeah, we also have the Mandalorian news.
The Woman DeLorean.
The Mandalorian.
We're hot off the heels of all the Star Wars celebration talk and all the announcements of films that are sure to happen.
Wasn't that a wake instead of a celebration?
Oh no,
Sweet.
there's Star Wars is at an all-time high.
How many
Yeah,
times has
never better.
Favreau had to rewrite this season now?
Favreau's on his way out the fucking door. Did you guys see that clip of Dave Filoni losing it like a little bitch? He's like, all fans. Dave Filoni.
Is going Kevin Smith mode?
Yeah, and then
Before.
Favreau's just staring at him. Doesn't change his expression once. It's hilarious.
What was he on about? What was the deal?
He's so happy to see all the faces of all the
Oh,
Star
that-
Wars fans.
Oh my god!
That made him
Really?
sound too manly. I'm sorry.
And yet there's no George Lucas.
Yeah, right. And so, yeah, this drops today. And look who drops in just in time for this conversation. Script Doctor.
Script.
Oh, hi,
Yeah.
Script.
Hey,
More
how's it going,
Canadian
everybody?
content. Hey, script.
I saw you on Conan yesterday.
Was
For like
that
a
yesterday?
for like a minute.
Yeah,
you were the
for
only
only-
person that was online.
Oh yeah, I tried to squeeze in an hour and I couldn't make it an hour. I had to go back.
I
to work.
need slaves, more slaves.
I do actually.
Yeah, you gotta defend your little fortress, your little river fortress. I'm sorry, I'm nerding out.
That's
No,
okay.
you're fine. But yeah, it turns out the Hollywood Reporter put this out this afternoon. Mandalorian fans turn on season 3. A massive drop in quality. What? Whoa.
No
Mhm.
way.
That's a big publication to put out a headline
Yeah.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're not wrong.
Nope.
They're not.
No, they're not.
I've only watched one episode and I have zero interest in watching anymore.
You've seen
It's
enough.
not. It's not good. I mean, it's just not. It's not good. It's fallen off dramatically. Why they brought Baby Yoda back is still a mystery to me. It's not going to save this in the eyes of the fans. I haven't been entertained by a single episode that I was forced to watch, and I really believe that they are setting up, and good for her, Katie Sackhoff, to essentially take over and round out with this film that's going to be coming out to tie this all up. So, would it surprise me if Pedro Pascal died at the end of this? No. I'm just.
I got to give WDW Pro credit because he mentioned this earlier today, but sorry, brain blanking here, but the actress who plays Rey showed up at Disney very quickly after Iger returned to Disney. And I mean, when you put the pieces together, you realize that they announced the return of that whole timeline in the Disney movies at Celebration, and the 7th episode that they premiered at Celebration apparently goes reasonably hard on approving those Disney movies and that timeline. It's all meant to work in synergy, and you start to realize, well, maybe Favreau was actually required to rewrite season 3 yet again back in November, December, after he had to rewrite it again before, when Gina Carano was let go.
I don't think he wrote this season at all. I know he's credited.
Yeah,
with
I mean,
it, but
I'm getting that feeling too. Yeah,
it's such a
Yeah,
tiny,
it definitely doesn't feel like Favreau at all.
it has such a tiny writer's room. I think there's only maybe 4 people in that room. And it's basically Filoni kind of running the show. Jon Favreau has been stretched thin because not only is he doing Mandalorian, he's doing a couple of other Star Wars projects and another project that's not related to Disney at all. So he doesn't really have the resources to give everything his full attention. You've got Carrie Beck there, who's a co-executive producer, who's part of the Star Wars Disney Story Group, picked by Kathleen Kennedy. And a lot of this stuff, and the thing is that this show, it plays out like, and I say this with complete accuracy, the garbage animation that Star Wars has had since Dave Filoni started the Clone Wars cartoon. The stories are very patronizing. They talk down to the audience, and their pacing is completely non-existent at points. And only once in a long while do they actually get a moment that kind of captures the spirit of Star Wars. And I think some of the fans of the Clone Wars cartoons, which I don't begrudge for being a fan of it, I think if that was your first experience of Star Wars or one of the earlier experiences you have with Star Wars and it allowed you to fall in love with the franchise, that's more the power to you. But I think that when you have those little bits of those little seeds that make this feel like Star Wars, it allows you to blind yourself for all the stuff that it violates.
Well, what's funny is this drops, and it's funny you mention a lot of this because we were discussing this a little bit, I believe, yesterday on the morning show. And it's kind of what you're saying here is this doesn't feel like Favreau is either there or he's even trying, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're right. We got a video coming out, and this dropped today as we're in the process of making this video, writing this video. The main video is going to allude to the fact that Favreau is probably out the door. And I believe that's the truth. As soon as Mando's done and over with, which it sounds like it's going to happen with that Mando movie, which Filoni is the only person who's really been announced being involved with. We don't even know if he's going to be involved with that. I would imagine so, but I think that's just like semantics at this point. Even when he's there, it doesn't seem like he's there. Because you're right. Like, I liked the first season a lot. Thought the second season was good. Totally understood a lot of where script was coming from with a lot of his critiques of the show. And at the end of the day, it was okay. And then when we get to the Boba Fett show, something feels off.
Mm-hmm. I felt the same way.
And then it gets even more off now with the first episode of this season of this show. And I'm just like, yeah, something's not right here. This does not feel like what we were used to.
Yeah,
Well,
you can
Iger
watch my
stepped in.
critiques.
He stepped in and he decided to continue. It's pretty clear to
Maybe
me. anyways.
I don't know about that, because here's the thing. None of the trades and even none of the back channels are reporting that any of the stuff announced at this celebration is actually a go.
That's also something to watch for sure.
And to further just remind people, like, yeah, I've been kind of criticizing it somewhat, not necessarily harshly, but very much authentically, that it's not a great series since kind of day one. I had my criticisms, and you can watch all those videos on my channel. Oddly enough, the last episode of season 2 has been a video I've been working on for a really long time, on and off, because I think it's a very bad episode, and I know some of the people that worked on it now, and I have a very strong inclination from the stories that they have told me that they are well aware of it, and they just tried to do the best they could to make it work. And the tragic part is that so many people, again, just like as I mentioned before with the animated stuff, saw something that they recognized or thought was a seed of Star Wars in it that made them love and want to support this show. And only now are they starting to realize, well, wait a minute, that wasn't really Star Wars. That doesn't fit in line with anything we saw in the original trilogy, or even in some of the stuff that was in the EU. And I actually called that out a little bit on Nerd Cookie's channel back in the days. And if you remember, on her channel, you got that live stream as well. You can watch.
And I think then is when we established that, any inconsistencies we were seeing in the lore or the rules or what have you, basically that was on Filoni. That was exactly what Favreau said he was supposed to be there for.
Yep.
And that's when I kind of knew there was some trouble and something wasn't smelling right in Denmark, because it's like, okay, if the dude who's supposed to be in charge of this shit isn't even telling you the shit he's supposed to know that for the show he wrote, like, what the fuck is wrong here? Because everybody was coming at, because I didn't watch a fucking Clone Wars show. I didn't care. But everybody was saying, like, that's not how the Force works when it came to the Darksaber shit. And I'm like, okay, well then how does it work? And then they explained it to me how it worked in Clone Wars. And it's like, well, that's Dave Filoni's job to let Favreau know that. So now here they are doing this whole tug of war thing with this fucking stupid sword shit this season.
Well, they resolved that last episode.
That's what I heard. And that's what I'm saying. Like, so, and it didn't even go where it probably should have. So this whole thing's a mess. Dave Filoni is one of the main problems here, kids. I mean, I don't know about a lot of these things that were announced happening, but I will tell you one thing. After this Mandalorian thing, I think all bets are off. I think Kathleen Kennedy has solidified her place in Lucasfilm, and she is not going anywhere anytime soon. Because she kind of said in so many words that this Rey project of hers was her baby, and it has been in the works for 2 fucking years. So we don't even have to wait for the answer to whether or not it was Lindelof's project or not. You're right, Script. We said this yesterday. He was work for hire. And I think that that has a good chance of happening, but we'll have to see. I don't know. I'm not feeling too confident with Star Wars, and I know, CC, you had some strong feelings about this.
I'm holding back.
And I told you not to.
Yeah, don't, brother. Come on.
Well, no, there are some things.
Here's
that I
my
probably
impression of
shouldn't
what I
say,
picture him being
but-
like mad. I'm mad, eh? I'm just spitting mad, eh?
That's
I'm
true.
sorry I
am
said
Canadian,
spitting.
so
angry.
you know,
I'm
it's a
so
little bit of
sorry
that
I
going
said
on.
spitting, but I'm spitting mad, eh? You know, like-
Well, he's Canadian, so
Kidding,
it's
I'm picking on
spitting mad.
no, let it loose, brother. Don't
I
hold it in.
apologize for being spitting mad.
Fucking Kathleen Kennedy, man. Everything about Star Wars since Disney took over, it could have been great. And I get that. It's like, when I think about it, it's like everything could have been great. George Lucas wrote scripts for 7, 8, 9. And maybe they were shit. I don't know. But you know what? It doesn't matter. It was fucking George Lucas. He's the guy who created it. And Favreau had a real plan. He had Cara Dune, who was awesome. And, you know, for all the fucking love about Baby Yoda, Cara Dune could have been the biggest character in all of modern Star Wars because she's human and she talks and she's awesome and she's real. And in real life, you meet her and she's one of the most amazing people you'll ever meet. And that's why everyone loves her, because she's real. She's, you know, and at every step of the way, somebody has come in and screwed with good plans. This could have been the best, most awesome 10 years of Star Wars we had. But at every step of the way, it got fucked with.
Oh yeah,
You're
and
not
J.J. Abrams
wrong.
is even a contributor to that too, because I was just going over some of my notes from that time. When Iger acquired Lucasfilm, his goal was to get a Star Wars movie out by 2015. They had the Lucas treatments. They had Jason David Arnett writing a treatment draft and getting things ready there. And then while searching for a director, they bring in J.J. Abrams, and he, as I've been piecing together the story, it looks like he pitched the idea of a safer movie in favor of any of the development that they'd done with the George Lucas treatments, and convinced everyone in the room to be like, yeah, this we can do faster and get out quicker, and probably guarantee a better box office return without confusing the audience. And that's what they ended up doing. And
Yeah, because I mean,
it's been off the rails
look,
ever since.
CC, you're probably not totally wrong about. I'm sure people would have had some issues with some of George's ideas.
Absolutely.
Oh,
If you
very
look
much,
into
I'm
what he
sure,
was going to
yeah.
do, a lot of what he was going to do actually did wind up in The Last Jedi. It just wasn't meant to be that way, right? Like, and some of it even wound up in Rise of Skywalker, bastardized in there. So, like, again, I mean, these things were meant to kind of be there to a point, but they did. They just kind of took what little kernels of his ideas and turned it into their whole, what we ended up getting at the end of the day.
A superficial understanding of A New
Yeah.
Hope remade into another movie.
Yes, but at least the one thing that was a glaring difference between his treatment that we know of and what we got was Luke was an active trainer of Rey. That was one big difference. He was clearly in the Obi-Wan role in his version. So that's the thing that was one of the biggest missteps of all of this whole thing was that I think nobody.
There was
can
lots
argue
of Luke in the original idea for episode 6.
Yeah, but Kara does need to leave us. So, Kara, any final thoughts on Star Wars here before we let you go here?
I grumble. I'm bored with Star Wars. They're screwing it up. I'm sad. It makes
Well,
me
don't
sad.
be sad. We're glad to have you here. And you're gonna get to eat supper, so that's always a thing to be
Yeah.
happy. Food is good.
I'm very happy that I get to eat food.
Ooh.
I'm gonna 70s. I saw your DM. Feel free to hit me up.
Will
I'm
do.
not like super aware of what's going on this season in the NHL.
Doesn't
we
matter. We drink and we have fun.
Hey, yeah, you
Culture comes on the show sometimes, so
Ooh. Yeah, just hit me up. And
Will do.
it was great to chat and to meet with you guys. And I'll be lurking for a little bit longer. But
Awesome.
great to see you.
Great to meet you.
Thank you for being here, Kara. We appreciate it.
Of course.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
All right. So let's see what you guys are talking about in the chat while we're at it. Oh, actually, no, Klobby, you didn't really say much.
No, I'm with you guys. It's I got nothing. This Star Wars. I'm trying to be like CC, trying to be pragmatic about it, not really. But it is. It's terrible. Who are we trying to kid?
It's
I
tragic,
mean,
yeah.
That's the thing is I wish there was some hope here to be had, but I don't think there is. Sadly.
No.
Yeah, it's just,
No, there's nothing.
Eventually, there will be better Star Wars. It's just how many of us are going to be alive to see it?
No,
I'm not sure they will.
Are you trying to say there will be a new hope, CC?
Oh, it could be 100 years from now, but I mean, these
Oh, but
modern
don't
myths
chink.
won't disappear forever.
Now that's
I mean, and maybe in a million years.
we've already
but-
had a New Hope twice. We had a
Well,
New
no.
Hope the original. We had a New Hope
Yeah.
called Force Awakens,
And we're
now
going to get it
we
again
A New Hope,
with Luna Skywalker, the trans daughter of Rey and
Whoa.
Kylo Ben.
But they've
Identity
committed,
theft at its best.
they've committed the worst
Sure.
sin possible.
But I'm goddamn serious.
Yeah, so what Ben Solo did the same thing that Darth Plagueis did and manipulated
Yes.
midichlorians to impregnate Rey.
Yes.
Another chosen
When he
one.
brought her back to
Yeah.
life in Rise of Skywalker, she was impregnated in that moment. So we jump 15 years ahead where she's got a 15-year-old kid.
14.
Whatever.
It can happen that quickly,
Oh, it's instantaneous. Yeah.
But they've committed the worst sin ever with Star Wars. It's not that people hate it anymore; they're just totally indifferent to it.
Oh, apathy will kill it faster.
Apathy is killing it faster. Yeah.
What I can assure is that in 50 years, people will remember the original trilogy, and everything else they will not.
And
Even the
Elizabeth,
prequels, they will not remember with any much fondness compared to the OT.
Yeah.
I know this is stupid, Elizabeth, but this is exactly how they get to have their cake and eat it too, and this is how they fucking think. Because they were so stupid, they didn't realize until we, and I guarantee you, they didn't realize until we all pointed it out to them that y'all just ended the bloodline of Skywalker and Palpatine won at the end of Rise of Skywalker.
Palpatine won. Yeah.
So this is the only way they can get out of this is by having her have a magic force baby with Ben. She took the name Skywalker, so the child will technically be the Skywalker bloodline through Ben Solo.
25% Skywalker.
Exactly, and it will have the name Skywalker because she adopted the name Skywalker. And like Culture said, she's at that right age right there to be kicking it off on a brand new adventure as Luna Skywalker. Same haircut.
I hate, by the way, Daisy Ridley's hair looks so terrible.
No. Luna's going to have Luke's haircut. She's going to own it. And then that's the thing is the Force baby thing then makes Rey as important as Shmi in this whole thing.
Shmi.
But she won't be attacked by Tusken Raiders. So.
No. She's going to be too busy trying to restart the Jedi Order. And
Oh,
being the bestest
God.
ever
You
at
think
it.
it's only going to be one baby? I know Disney is so derivative that it's going to be twins.
Oh,
God damn it, script. Now I got to rewrite my thing.
Luke and
It's going
Leia.
to be Luna and Saul.
Yes, you're right. You're fucking right. You're totally right. It's going to be twins.
That's it.
Luna, Moon, Soul, Sun. Well done, script.
Oh
That's
no,
what
it's going to be
frightens
Luna
me a
Sun
little
and
bit.
Saul Moon.
They might actually start taking good material and putting.
They're taking
putting
notes
awful-
right now, CC.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
Pablo's hate watching us. And he's like, fucking hate them, but they're right. This is amazing.
He's scribbling it down.
yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. He's such a freaking.
He's on the phone. Kathy, we broke the back of the script. Trust me.
Yeah, he's a trash panda. So
Here's the story you always wanted, but with our own self inserts.
It's me, Pablo Hidalgo. Listen to this.
You got to do that as a meme.
You know, your lore keeper.
You know what? He used to be so respected too.
Really?
When?
He sounded his
Before
name
he
was
opened his
to
mouth.
Pablo Escobar. Why would you ever want to?
I was going to say, he was always a joke from what I remember. D-Bud, you know what's funny is I want to actually see them start using it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even sue them.
No.
Not that I'd really have any grounds to at the end of the day. I mean,
Other than they stole our story ideas.
These are not the cream of the crop story ideas.
No, this
No.
is them this is me having fucking fun with them. Like if they really wanted me to get dead serious, we'd actually had some decent movies. And I could have even wrote a decent film off of fucking The Force Awakens. And then script would have rewrote it into a masterpiece. After all the scribbly lines.
Scribbly line.
Well, you know. I draw a
You
lot
could
of
start
pictures.
by giving Han Solo a heroic death. I mean, how
Well,
fucking
you just
hard
have
would
to
it be?
Die anyways.
It's too late. He's already dead. So what you have to do is make it fucking mean something, right? The easiest way to do that is as soon as Rey goes, Han Solo is dead. Princess Leia needs your help, or whatever the fuck she is now. Leia needs your help. Luke goes, what? Han Solo's dead, has a moment of sadness, and then gets his shit and gets the fuck off that planet!
Well,
That's how you
there's
make
that
his
part.
death mean something.
Well, the other part too is that Leia has to be there without Han, because if the whole premise of Force Awakens is, oh, Leia's looking for Luke, but at
That
the end of
too.
the movie, it's not Leia there that's holding
Yes.
lightsaber or whatever. It's Rey. It's like, well, isn't Leia supposed to be the one wanting to find Luke? Why is she sending this kid that nobody knows to do that? Because you would have a powerful moment if it's like Leia's there and Luke's like, hey, Leia, where's Han? And then
No.
she doesn't have to say anything, and he's like, okay, what do we got to do? And
You
or
know,
at least you have a fun scene where you have kind of Carrie Fisher kind of going around, just where the hell have you been for 30 years?
basically, you know, this would have been funnier. Somebody needs to do this and just have it to where instead of Luke throwing the lightsaber, he just throws Rey.
You nailed that.
Those
There,
are
Tom. You nailed
That'd be
that.
great.
just
Force
picks
throws
her
her
ass
off.
up and tosses her in the water.
Force through.
Can you swim?
This is your first lesson.
Yeah, this is your first lesson. Don't drown. Anyway, Culture's dying here. He needs to go. Thank you for being here, Culture. Anything to plug on your way out?
No, just watch the latest Midnight's Edge video that's going to be coming out here shortly. So looking forward to that. And,
It'll probably be tomorrow.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Other than that, the 6 Minute Daily.
I got Pablo working on a supercut right now of every time that she brought up Dave in that video.
Dave.
Oh God.
Dave's not here.
It's Dave Filoni, Dave Filoni, Dave Filoni, Dave.
Dave's her acolyte. Here's the fun fact. So I have yet to ever hear a quote from George Lucas's mouth in audio or in print where he bestows Dave Filoni any sort of compliments or anything with regards to him being the steward of Star Wars. But I can find tons of Kathleen Kennedy saying that.
That's crazy.
This is probably the most George would have to say about him. I don't understand why he's wearing the hat.
We're indoors.
Yeah, and
why are you wearing a hat?
Well, and also why is he so obsessed with Ahsoka?
Because Dave
She's
Filoni's the type of guy that never got any exotic women.
So is that why he wears the exotic hat?
Even though he's from like the Northeast. Yeah. Listen, the invention of Ahsoka being a Padawan to Anakin Skywalker violates so much with regards to the relationship of the master and the pupil with Jedi that it should immediately have been discarded. But the fact that it wasn't has one of the linchpins that led us here. And this happened under the George Lucas regime. He thought it was an okay idea and didn't realize what that actually means.
Right.
It's like, oh, you're good enough to teach another Jedi, but when we want to promote you to the council, we're not going to give you a master title. It's like, what?
Well, I'm going to leave you with all of your Marvel and Star Wars sadness, and I will see you all tomorrow, guys. I love you.
Cheers, Culture. See you, buddy.
Bye, Culture.
I don't think it's sadness anymore. I think it is just apathy. I mean, I have no interest in any of their current product anymore.
I'm still in anger.
I was going to
personally.
say, I feel bad for CC because you can clearly tell he's upset. He's Canadian,
is
so he's
upset.
like crying inside right now. I mean,
Yeah.
he's ready to kill somebody.
He's going to go throw Tim Hortons at somebody.
Oh,
He's that angry.
Lord.
Sasquatch better be on his guard.
Lord.
Kick some ass, he is.
That's just scary. I'm trying to find this stupid ass clip of Filoni and Favreau.
Where Favreau is like the most still faced ever.
He's just like, what the fuck is this dude babbling about? Or I want to stab you in the fucking face right now.
You took my show
Was that
from
this
me.
weekend?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it was this weekend.
celebration. Oh god.
Yeah, I got one here that's all like schmaltzy. Somebody added some fucking piano music to it. I'm like, well, maybe it's better that way. Listen
He
to
is
that
such
one.
what a dork weed the guy is.
I gotta go back up to the top to find it. Because I was like scanning forever. Fuck.
I don't hate everything Filoni's done. I love the Bendu. I love the characters of Rebels. I watched Rebels 3 times through. I know not everyone loves that show, but I
love
did
Rebels.
enjoy it.
So
Wasn't
who
the
do you think
There are
Bendu
clips
something?
there's clips of the man describing himself as a Sith.
Well, and
Well,
that's the
I
thing.
have one
Wasn't the
question for
Bendu
you.
something that George came up with anyway? Sorry, go ahead with.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question for you, CC. Who do you think is going to play the alien hybrid of the Twi'lek and Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character that they introduced in the very last episode of that Star Wars Clone Wars or Star Wars Rebels cartoon? You know that freaky looking human with the green ears thing?
Yeah.
That's it's Hera. Hera's the name, right? It's her kid. That's
Hera was the character who was a regular on. He was Kanan's girlfriend on.
yeah, she's being played
Rebels.
by Mary Elizabeth
Mary
Winstead
Elizabeth
now.
Winstead,
so.
Yeah.
It's a
Which
tough
is an
question to
interesting choice.
answer, like an actual name of a person off the top of my head. But I mean, the way
That's an interesting choice.
I mean, just
She's a good
imagine that
actress.
in live action, that human Twi'lek hybrid, and we already saw
Yeah.
a model of it in Star Wars Rebels, and it looked freaky.
I didn't realize she was a
children
human.
watching it in live action.
Is Zed on Zeb in the thing?
Zeb is
How
in the
does Zeb-
Mandalorian.
Zeb
He
is
was
in it?
introduced. He was introduced in live action on the Mandalorian.
I was gonna say the only one who wasn't
I
there
don't remember
was
seeing him.
the episode 5,
Which
I think
episode?
it was.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that Zeb?
Yes. Apparently it
I
was.
must have missed it.
No,
Ezra
I
was
don't
the only
blame
one who wasn't there.
Well, he
Actually,
What I
you know
heard.
apparently
what?
lost with Thrawn somewhere.
Ezra in the premiere of season 3 of Rebels, and this is the problem with Disney. Besides the fact that their live action history is the fucking Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and Lizzie McGuire, and now they're trying to compete with Netflix on AAA live action when they've never really done it before. Not really. I mean, you can argue with me on that. I'm sure they've.
God,
done
I
some
love
good
it when
stuff, but-
CC's fired up. Jesus.
Oh, because I'm really
Gets
fucking
my
fired
blood
up
going.
about Star Wars. But the season 3, Rebels had some really
really
great
had some great
moments. Like the end
episodes.
of season 2 and the beginning of the first episode of season 3, they wanted to go dark side with Ezra. But the problem with Disney is they can't go dark side. They can't go Deadpool. 3 is gonna fucking suck because they can't do it. They've never done that before. They've never done Kill Bill. Are you fucking kidding me? Kill Bill? The Cracklight is gonna be Kill Bill? No, they've never done it. They won't go dark
Yeah.
side with Ezra because they
That's
can't
Klobby
bring
level.
themselves to go there. But if they would just let Ezra give into that, and the way he controls things, he has that power. There's so much potential.
How
And they
big a scene
won't
did they
do it.
have? Did the Rebels have in that episode? Because I don't remember seeing them at all. And that one with the when they were fighting on when that Carl Weathers had all those Mandalorians fighting to free his world. Is that the one you're talking about?
The whole arc, one of my favorite
Well,
arcs of
something about
Rebels, the end of season 2 and the beginning of season 3.
No, I was
When
wondering
he's
that,
with
which
Darth Maul.
Mandalorian episode were they on? Because I'm trying to remember. You were all saying they were on an episode recently.
Yes, episode 5 of The Mandalorian, the one with
The Mandalorian
Hung Young Lee, who went to talk to Tim Meadows about the.
Yeah, okay.
That's
What
the
scene were they
episode
in?
where he was
I
in.
must have totally missed them.
Yeah, he's at the bar.
All of them. Oh, gotcha. Okay, so I hear you. Good. I'm about to go. That was the only episode I thought at least felt like something to do with Star Wars. At least it was just an action episode. It wasn't as silly as the other ones. It was Mandalorians fighting and stuff. But yeah.
All right, let's see what this stupid thing has to say.
Yeah, I get emotional by looking at all your faces
You're emotional,
and all the things you do to make this all possible. And I'm trying to like commit it to memory and just know that I see you guys and the variety of people that we have at
Just
Star
watch
Wars
Favreau.
is part of what makes it so beautiful that you come in costumes or just a t-shirt. I love how much you put into it. It means so much to me.
He knows how to suck his way to the top.
A lick of a change. Doesn't clap.
Because I get it.
Doesn't
I
smile.
really get it.
I'm reminded
like,
of Ben
"Move on."
Affleck when he's
If I
sitting
wasn't
next to Henry
sitting
Cavill
here-
as they're talking about Batman v Superman, and they're just zooming in on Ben Affleck's disappointed
Hello,
face.
darkness, my old friend.
Yeah.
Yes.
That expression does not change through the whole thing. Doesn't smile for him. And we were talking about this last night on Toxic Femme. We pointed out, like, doesn't even, like, extend his arm, give him a pat on the back, like, kind of a thing, or even a smile and a clap when everybody else is clapping. Nothing. It's
like,
nothing.
You are embarrassing me.
I think he's thinking, who the fuck are you?
I mean, you could read almost anything into that face. You were saying that last night. I think, Script, it was you.
Yep.
He's basically that face, of all the different expressions.
That is a
You-
look from Favreau.
Dude, you are embarrassing me. Stop.
I mean, it just no emotion whatsoever, man. It's just, it's almost like it's more telling that way in a weird way. That's what I'm saying. It does feel like there's a shift in the wind, and it feels like Favreau has given up.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Kuleshov effect. Yeah.
Because he wasn't even there on that first night, right? Like that first big thing when they made all these announcements. He was nowhere to be seen in this whole thing.
There's a Canadian saying, the shit winds are blowing.
Yep.
Is that after they spread the shit on the fields and all you smell is shit for weeks? Yeah, we get that in Wisconsin too. Yeah, I feel it, Elizabeth. I feel like John's just totally checked out.
Nah.
I don't know.
Well, it's certain these episodes he's making this year. This season certainly seemed that way.
Like I said, you can go back to Boba Fett.
Yeah.
And this timing, it all adds up
Terrible.
because Filoni got announced for the new creative director position that we know of that in May. So it could have happened sooner than that, obviously. I think that all coincides with the same time KK was brought back over after the Blood and Bones thing. Filoni gets his fucking baloney fucking upgrade. Gina Carano doesn't get renewed, but gets publicly humiliated.
Gosh, yeah, absolutely.
And all this shit all corresponds around the same damn time. And Filoni has thrown Favreau under the bus over Carano.
Not only that, they bring in Robert Rodriguez and be like, yeah, we've got 20 pages to account for 6 episodes. Do what you can. Bye.
That to me tells me there was something wrong. Something went way wrong. I mean, we have some things to support that, but at this point, I think it's very telling what's going on here. And I've been trying to say it to people: don't trust Filoni as far as you can throw him. And I mean, we've caught Kathleen Kennedy in how many fucking lies now? Because that's kind of the basis of this new video coming out. On top of everything else, is all the people that she's fired. And that was kind of one of the things with this whole lie that she got caught in the middle of. And we caught it last night too, Script, and everybody else picked up on it now finally too. And that is that she said that there was nothing going forward with the Favreau or
Kevin Feige and Michael Waldron thing. Yeah.
Which was complete and utter fucking bullshit because Michael Waldron was working on the script. She said they didn't have an idea or a pitch or however it was she put it. And it's like, wait a minute here. According to official Star Wars news, that's not fucking true. And from Mike's own mouth, that's not true. So that's just another day that ends in Y for Kathy. But then it just makes you wonder about all this shit because I tell you, it has got to be a one clusterfuck of a civil war going on behind the scenes there. But at this point, if it is, it's done because Favreau walked away. That's what I feel has happened.
I think the problem with, you talk about lies, I think the problem with people like KK is that their first instinct, it's like a politician when asked anything, is to say anything but the truth. Like everything's a construct. Everything has to be, there's nothing just comes from the heart or is a true reaction. So I don't think they think of it as lying. I think they've artificially created a construct around their Lucasfilm and Disney, and they will always talk about it that way. They will never be truthful. They've created this thing, so it's they don't get, there is no truth and or lies in their view. This is what we say it is. Whether they believe it internally or not, I don't know, but they'll never react with just the truth, like, yeah, you're right, that was a piece of shit. They're never going to say that. Or we got that wrong, or no, we shouldn't have done that. The first response is always toe the line and say the construct.
Well, I mean, in Hollywood, you can't be perceived as infallible. Or sorry, as fallible. You have to be.
That's right. Yeah. You said it much better than me, Script. Yeah, that's. They will never react with an honest reaction. Let's put it that way.
Not many will, and the ones that do, they do it in private. Outside of the mainstream media and the bubble there, but rarely will you actually get a creative unless they're in a very, very powerful position. Will they say, oh yeah, that was a mistake, that was bad, that wasn't the best thing we did. I mean, the writer director of X-Men the X-Men film with Jennifer Lawrence recently, where they did X-Men and X-Women, that crap going on. I can't remember what.
I think that was the name of it.
The Phoenix crap. It was Dark Phoenix, X-Men Dark Phoenix. The writer and director of that actually admitted that he screwed up with that movie.
Kinberg or whatever his name is. Simon Kinberg?
Yeah, Andrew Kinberg or Andrew
Simon.
Kinberg. Simon Kinberg. Yeah. Sorry, it's been a long day for me. No, but he admitted to it. But he's still getting work. But the thing is,
he sound like me.
He put him into the position. He put himself in the position where he took responsibility for it, kind of like how Schumacher did with Batman and Robin, and he didn't hold anyone else accountable. Even though I have a pretty confident opinion that Fox did require certain things of him to go in that movie, which he acquiesced to instead of fighting back like he probably should have.
The fan in me just wants somebody to go full nuclear. Like if Mark Hamill had refused to film a damn scene of that movie, they could have sued him for every dime he was ever worth and every dime his children would ever make, and the world would have protected him.
That
would have been fine.
Very true. Yeah. As soon as he said they they told me I had to betray the character that millions of kids fell in love with. But,
He would have
when
lived
you're
a
in
great
Hollywood-
life no matter how much they tried to attack him and sue him and take everything from him. He would have been fine. And his children would have been fine. And his children's children would have been fine.
Oh yeah, but Hollywood can be very, very intimidating. I mean, for a person like Mark Hamill, he would have definitely had the protection. For someone like me, I would have disappeared if I didn't have an anonymity.
That's true. That's why I want the biggest star to stand up and do it one day.
Yeah.
Let's watch this stupid thing. What do you guys say?
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Script
We
and I
are
have
Star Wars
already
Celebration, and we just got out of the Lucasfilm Studio panel where so much was announced, and we're joined by none other than Kathleen Kennedy herself.
This
Kathleen,
made me
that was a lot.
furious.
It was a lot. Yeah. A couple of hours we were up there.
Yeah.
It was pretty amazing. I've seen everything,
Yeah.
obviously, but when you get it all together like that and put it in front of people, it's overwhelming.
Yeah, and they were all very exciting, but I think people are really excited for Dave Filoni to
Mhm.
get a feature film. So what made you both decide that it was time to make that jump for him?
It hasn't been
No, not-
something that we just decided.
Mm.
It's actually, I feel like it's been something we've been working toward, and he's been working toward for
No,
over
yeah.
a decade.
Yeah.
So this is a very evolving.
What's that, Clobby?
Nothing. I was just saying. I was arguing with her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I just thought you had something to say.
Process. Nothing happens, overnight, but it's really thrilling to see him take this step.
Mhm. And as we all know, he's had such a big impact on the Star Wars universe and its
Mhm.
characters. So, can you tell me if it'll feature any characters that we know and love or new ones?
Well, it will, because he's obviously taking all the work that he's been doing in animation and now in television with Jon Favreau, and he's moving some of those storylines into the feature space. So there's going to be a lot people will recognize.
Yeah, absolutely. And I imagine it might tie into some of the shows that we saw today.
That's the intention.
Yeah. And I also want to talk about James Mangold. Did you see his work on Indiana Jones 5 and think, all right, this guy needs a Star Wars?
Well, I've been following Jim for a long
No.
time.
Yeah.
I mean, his work has been consistently so good. And certainly when he did Indy 5, it was clear that he's a real filmmaker and he loves movies and he loves Star Wars. He always has. And he's constantly been in my ear. Hey, maybe.
Okay, right
Hmm.
there is her contradicting a little bit of news from prior. Because remember, Mangold was attached to a Boba Fett project before. Her and him claim that wasn't true. Now she's sitting here saying that, oh no, we were talking for years and it was maybe. Now, they didn't specifically say the Boba Fett project, but that does add some credence to the whole reports before about him being attached to a Star Wars project that didn't come to fruition.
Hmm.
Yep.
That's just the first of many things in this stupid thing.
No.
And then he came up with this idea,
Plus we gotta
and
break
we
it up
sat
a
down
little
and
bit.
talked with Dave about it, and,
Mhm.
and Carrie
Dave,
and all
Dave,
of us,
Dave,
and
Dave,
agreed
Dave.
that this would be
Dave.
a really good next step.
Yeah. And of course, it was so exciting to have Daisy back today.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was huge.
Who?
Yeah. So what
Daisy.
point in
Right.
Ray's life are we going to rejoin her?
Well, we're 15 years out from Rise of Skywalker.
Right.
So we're kind of post-war, post-First Order, and the Jedi are in disarray.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of discussion around who are the Jedi, what are they doing, what's the state of the
No,
galaxy.
there isn't.
And she's attempting to rebuild the Jedi Order based on the books, based on what she promised Luke.
No, she isn't.
So that's
Nope.
Okay, and here's where I said that yes, it's going to be about her and her goddamn kids.
where we're
Yep.
going.
It's like,
Yeah,
oh
and
my
you
God,
mentioned
they're
Luke,
starting
and I
the
think he
sequel
almost-
trilogy at the same way the sequel trilogy started.
Yep.
Luke Skywalker is now a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker will now be played by a trans woman.
Almost seemed like almost a cautionary tale
Mhm.
in the most recent trilogy. Will we see any of that play with Rey at all?
I don't know as we'll spend a lot of time in flashbacks or Force Ghosts or things like that, but certainly the spirit of what he
AKA,
represents
no, you
to
will
her.
not see
Kill the
Mark
past.
fucking. No, you will not see any of the previous people. That's what she's saying right there.
Nope.
Not even
Only-
his fucking Force ghosts.
Only if they can continue to denigrate them.
No, well, yeah.
It's going to be significant.
Mhm. And as you mentioned, it's 15 years after the Rise of Skywalker. So are the other two films, do you see them more as standalone movies?
Oh yeah, what we're doing when we say standalone now, a lot of the storytelling, as you can see in the work that we've been doing in television,
There's a story.
we started as a standalone idea, and
Yeah.
then it's grown. And I think
You'll
the
be standing
potential
alone
of
in the
that
theater.
could happen in these different eras of the timeline. But I don't want to make a commitment to that until we really get into it and see how it plays.
Yeah, and I kind of want to talk a little bit more about that. I think the beginning of Disney Plus was kind of the beginning of a new era for Star Wars. So what have you learned about putting out Star Wars content in the past like 3-4 years?
I think it was huge, actually, almost by accident, because interestingly enough, it's a format in which George was inspired when he first did Star Wars, serialized storytelling. And so when we got into the television space and realized we had this kind of long form storytelling that we could get into, it was really conducive to Star Wars. And it's given us a lot of flexibility, opportunity to experiment. We knew we needed to introduce new characters, new storylines, and we could do that without the huge expectation of a movie. And
now, Script and I got into this pretty deep last night about the whole serialized bit that she's getting. She's conflating a lot. Okay, because first of all, most people know, even though George has a little bit of revisionist history on it, he never meant for it to be this trilogy or series of films. It was meant to be one film that basically emulated the style of shorts that he saw, like Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon, the serialized shorts. And his whole idea was you pick up, you're coming in the middle of a serial that you never seen the first X amount of episodes of, and you're probably never going to see the rest of. Right? Like that was his whole idea with this. And if you notice, when you get to Empire and Jedi, the only story elements that really are hanging over, aside from the grand, Empire story, is just the personal stories. Because beyond that, Empire and Star Wars are like almost completely different films.
Yeah.
Same thing with Jedi. Like, I mean, even though Jedi has a lot more in common with the first film, but that being said, like, point being is, you just look at it and you're like, okay, they're still in their own little separate space. You can even say that about the prequels to a point. Especially when you get
very different than
especially between episode 1 and 2, right? So like in that was different. He wasn't necessarily carrying. There was a little bit more serialization in the prequels, but even there, it still had jumps of years to where it wasn't like last week and then we jump right to the next thing, right? It was just I don't know, misconstrued maybe the word I was looking for according to Echo 3, but regardless, she does not even understand Star Wars, and this is what Marshall Lucas was saying.
If only she were in charge.
Well, not only that, I mean, there's the article, and even I think on the recent interview she did when she saw Phantom Menace for the first time in a public theater, because she has never spoken to George since their divorce, and she ended up crying in her car afterwards because it was not recognizable as Star Wars, as the thing that she thought was where the story should be.
Yeah.
And she felt like, some of the mistakes that she made and the mistakes that George made led to the fact that this thing that was kind of one of their other babies is not that anymore. And I haven't heard any of her recent stuff with regards to the sequel trilogy. I can only imagine how horrified she'd be at that.
Well, she did say some pretty shitty things about the sequel trilogy. I don't know if you heard her comments on that. That was where she said, Kathy, call me. Obviously, they know each other.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as the rest goes, I would be curious more to hear what her thoughts are on like episode 3. So I got to imagine she'd be like, George is working some shit out.
I'm with Mexican Iron Man on this one. Attack of the Clones is my favorite Star Wars movie.
What?
I know not everyone will agree.
Oh my god!
It's a personal thing because that's the movie that I really attached myself to and I watched over and over and over again. But I'm sure they think that those movies they put out with J.J. Abrams and all that will become that in 20, 30 years, but they won't. I mean, at least the prequels, they love them or hate them, they aged well. They do have fans and people appreciate them now. That's not going to happen with the new Disney movies. As hard as they try, it's not ever going to happen. And that's not to take away from the few fans that exist, but it's just not enough to build something around, and it's not ever going to be.
Oops. We lost Tom.
We lost Tom.
The show is ours now.
Yeah, let's talk about him. CC, are you weren't? Is that really your favorite of the films? Just no judgment.
Is it because Yoda's fighting for the first time?
I'm just asking. Is it really? I mean, yeah. No judgment, buddy.
It's not like it's so far and away the favorite. I have a personal attachment to it because it's the movie that I, at the time when it came out, that I just kept watching over and over again.
Oh, okay.
And it's Mace Windu's awesome.
I agree with that.
It felt like it was, much as I enjoyed The Phantom Menace to a degree, it was the movie that really just went balls to the wall. I could say that episode 3 is my favorite, and that would be fair. I could say that Empire Strikes Back is my favorite. So it's not like it's so far and away.
That's my favorite.
It's the one that has a bit of a more of a personal energy to me.
I think we take out some of that really crappy dialogue between what's her name and what's his name. That Attack of the Clones isn't so bad.
Yeah, the love story in Attack of the Clones is barely love and even less of a story.
Yes.
Tom, I came in to save the day.
I was just resetting my audio because people are saying I was cutting out. So
yeah,
hopefully
I'll
fix
go back
it again. But
I'll go back to listening.
You can stay.
I'm doing a tax return, so I'd rather listen because.
Okay.
Right.
But I just thought the show. Yeah, I didn't want.
Well, don't even get me started on Yoda using a lightsaber in the.
He came in to save the show.
There were some really cringe things in episode 2. It's just
but me and CC love it.
Yeah, I watched it over and over.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Even though Empire's the greatest ever.
Yeah. All right, let's get back into this stupid thing. Yeah, I agree. With Star Wars being a close second, and then probably maybe an argument for episode 3, but then
Now we're ready to move back into the movie space, and it's really exciting.
Yeah, and for all the movies that we did hear about today, we do know that there are some that have been shelved.
Well, they haven't been shelved. Most things haven't been shelved. Development is a complicated, long-term process. Some people, we're dealing with scheduling because obviously really talented people are working. So we don't. It's often not a shelving. It's just, is it ready? That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about kind of projects like Rogue Squadron and Kevin Feige's project. So could those still see the light of day?
Kevin Feige's project was something announced in the press or I suppose fandom, but there was nothing ever got developed.
Right.
We never discussed an idea. We didn't, as everybody knows, Kevin's a huge Star Wars fan.
Wait a minute.
And if he did come up with something, I would be all ears. But that's never.
You
really
liar!
It's not.
You are a liar.
Whoa! Wow! Huh? Way to throw Kevin under the bus there.
Lies upon lies.
Did they not screen these questions before the interview?
No, they probably did. It's just her answers are weird. Even like again, this now the article that you pointed to with Michael Waldron and Kevin Feige, that was dated 2022 or 2021.
I believe the latest one that I found was 10 months ago, where they were actually talking to Michael and actually got.
Okay, so that would have been before Iger came back and when Chapek was there, right?
I think so, because he was ousted when March.
Well, Chapek was ousted in late October, early November.
Or no, October. Jesus Christ! Yeah, what am I?
So 10 months ago would be the summer.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm still stuck like last year. Don't worry about it.
So I find it hard to believe that Kathleen Kennedy wouldn't know about it or anything, but I don't find it hard to believe that Chapek went to Feige and be like, "Give me a Star Wars and work with this guy."
And the thing is the Feige project came to being during. I do remember that was during Iger's reign, like the initial announcement. But the last, that was the last movement I saw, and it was 10 months ago. Was Michael Waldron talking about it? Yeah.
I could also see Iger being the one saying, because remember Iger said when it comes to movies, the buck stops with me. Who's to say he didn't go behind Kathy's back? But again, I find it very difficult to believe that Kathy wouldn't know about it.
Oh, she does. She's lying through her fucking
the fact that she's trying to say that she would be open to Kevin Feige and doing all that other stuff, and it's like, well, we have reports that was in the works. Are you saying that you were never informed of it and you only learned about it in the trades? And if so, that says a lot about where she was at that time in relation at Lucasfilm and with Disney too. Well,
aside from just the whole there's no books or comics bullshit, let's not forget that Carrie Fisher's own brother had to correct her. Remember?
Yep.
On shit with. So this is what I say. I'm not totally disregarding the fact that she might be out of the fucking loop, like Script was saying, because that there has been a history of that. But I agree more with the line of she knows she's trying to throw some fucking shade at Kevin Feige right now is what she's trying to do.
Well, she's in a perfect position to do so because Marvel's not doing so well anymore.
Nope.
And remember, that announcement was happening when Marvel was still kind of relatively in very good position with Disney. And
it was on the heels of Endgame, if you'll remember. That's why.
Oh, wouldn't it be been on the heels of Spider-Man No Way Home?
No, it was before that, I thought.
It was before No Way Home?
Wrong. I could have swore it was right after Endgame they announced that initially.
Well, Endgame was 2018?
Oh, that was 19.
Or 2019?
Yeah, 19.
Yeah. And that's the thing is everything's kind of been in limbo for COVID. And that's the thing. So I'd have to look exactly when it was announced again, but you could be right. Regardless, point being, yeah, she's full of shit.
Bullshit.
I mean, that's one of a producer's main qualities.
Brian needs to leave us, so Brian, go get your dinner.
Brian.
I gotta go eat. I'm starving, and I'm also gonna go. I'm also gonna go cry in a corner because it's just all made me really miserable.
Well, we got fucking 6 more minutes of this shit, dude.
Oh, I know. It's,
I don't know if we'll watch the whole thing, but we'll see.
We still have the good stuff from years ago, so.
We got a tag team happening here, so.
Yeah.
All right.
So good night, everybody. See you all soon. Have a great night, and take care.
All right, buddy. No deal.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
And welcome, Valiant.
Well,
We are.
70's left, so I want to leave now too.
Well, see you later.
So we're gonna get script for a little longer too. Anyway, so let's get through this here. You came in at a perfect time. We just got past her lies about Michael Waldron. I don't know if you want to comment on that real quick, Valiant.
Wait, what specifically about Waldron?
Where she's like, Feige didn't have nothing.
Yeah.
It's like that must be news to Michael Waldron because he was working on a fucking script.
It's also news to Alan Horn, who said it like 2 years ago.
Anyway.
Yeah, or whatever it was. Yeah.
So yeah, we were just kind of debating on whether she was lying or just out of the loop, and we think it's more or less she's lying. So yeah. Anyway, back to
An abandoned
Right, right.
project. It just didn't happen.
Now, Rogue Squadron.
Well, she said it's an abandoned project.
Yeah, and that was right after, mind you, she just said that none of these projects are done, right?
Fantastic. We talked a lot about movies, but
So it was an abandoned project. That means at one point it was a project.
Yeah, but
What she said about Rogue Squadron, she said it was actually going to happen. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's totally going forward. That's her baby.
Yeah.
She's still trying to push that through. Yeah.
Is that what she said? No,
Well, they
I want
had.
to talk about.
I was gonna say real quick. I think I got a list of them, and I had the California and UK entity. I'm pretty sure for Rogue Squadron, and right about the time that the whole Patty Jenkins thing exploded, there was a filing to basically terminate the entity. So there you go.
There you go.
I don't blame them. The script was terrible. That I am still trying to find it, but if anyone has it out there,
That's what you
please
had
send
said
it
you
to
had
me.
heard, yeah.
Right next to
the
Damon
really exciting
Lindelof.
shows that we got a glimpse of today.
Well, Damon
so you have
Lindelof's,
Ahsoka, you
yeah.
have Acolyte, you have Skeleton Crew. What do you hope each of these brings to your current Star Wars universe?
You know what we're seeing, and Dave talked a lot about this. We're
Dave,
seeing the
Dave, Dave,
opportunity
Dave,
for
Dave.
fans to find where their entry point is in Star Wars. There's a lot of things now going back almost 50 years.
Yeah.
So you don't want to.
We know where
you
your
don't want
entry
people to
point
feel like
is,
they have to see
swiftly up the
everything
ass of all the
in order
fucking
to step
fans.
into Star Wars. And we also want to look at the generational aspect of Star Wars. It's always been something that's been passed down. So something like Skeleton Crew, we're really excited about because it's aimed at younger kids, but will still bring in the fans, still bring in adults. But that's an opportunity for a kid that so many of us relate to, a kid that can step into Star Wars and make it their own. And I think that's the beauty of the storytelling that's going on now, is that everybody can kind of find where their entry point is.
And speaking of Skeleton Crew, I mean, that was so exciting to see all the directors laid out like that.
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of made you want to take that approach with Skeleton Crew where you find so many different voices and put them in this one show?
We've been doing that a lot. We did that with Ahsoka. We've been doing that with Mandalorian. There's a lot of different voices that come in. Obviously, John and Dave really structure what Mandalorian and Ahsoka is. But when we knew we had John Watts, and John Watts knows all of us, that kind of continuity was able to exist. And it's just great to bring in Star Wars fans who are also great directors. And they may have an idea here and there that shifts a point of view, and that's exciting. That's what we want.
And I was excited to see more of the Acolyte, which has been one of the more mysterious projects, but you said you've seen 4 episodes and you were blown away. So what about them blew you away?
It is Leslie, her storytelling, I was blown away by just the scale and the size, and as you can see from
Christine
what you saw in the
assistant
room,
Leslie Headland,
it's
you're
very
right.
compelling. She's doing some really original things, and yet completely grounded in Star Wars.
Yeah, and then you have Ahsoka, which is of course taking such a beloved animation character and taking them into live action. Do you guys think that that's something you might do more of?
You know, I wouldn't do it without Dave.
Yeah.
I mean, Dave created so much of what was in Clone Wars and Rebels, and
She's got a
that
hard-on
extension
for
of that
Dave.
storytelling is something that's Dave's. And certainly working with him to try to evolve that into, you know,
Dave
whatever we
goes
do with live action,
downstairs.
whether it's
Told
series or
you,
whether we
Dave,
go into
Dave,
features.
Dave.
That's something we would do with him.
And you guys have really played with kind of like intersecting these shows. You've
Played
had like
with
the Mandalorian
Dave.
and Boba Fett, and we had a Thrawn mention and Mandalorian just now. I mean, is that something
guess
you
you
might
could
play
put
with
it
more, or do you
inside
think
Dave.
these are going to be more standalone
Dave's not
projects?
here.
Well, that's really building toward what Dave's doing in the,
Yeah.
in the feature space.
Dave,
Yeah,
Dave.
absolutely.
Very intentionally.
What Dave's
And how far,
building.
going back to these movies, how far along are they
Dave's
in
building,
development?
exactly.
We're pretty far along. These are things, you know, there's, as you can imagine, certainly looking at what
And
Dave's
Tom,
been doing
if
with
I may,
Ahsoka,
real quick.
that'll be at least 6-7 years built.
That right there, folks, that right there, all this Dave stuff, that's exactly what Tom was bringing up, what Pro was bringing up, what I agreed with both of them on. This is what's giving us cause to look downrange and say, kind of wonder how much longer Favreau's going to hang out.
Not only that, it's like if and when Kathy leaves Lucasfilm, Dave might be the one that takes her place.
I
She is
think that's the
priming
case.
him up
'Cause
a lot right now.
I was gonna say, you and I think others have said the same thing. It's like once we start hearing her talk about somebody endlessly,
Mm-hmm.
I think you said that specifically.
I said that 3 years ago.
Yep. And I agree, because yeah, what are we hearing here? She has not. Fuck. Dave, Vision, Dave,
Kathleen Kennedy has Dave coming after she's gone.
Jesus
Dave,
fucking
Dave,
You
Christ.
didn't
Dave,
say.
Dave.
You did not just say he was coming. Okay.
Dave,
I don't know if he'd
Dave,
know
Dave,
how.
Dave, Dave.
He'd be like, I don't know what to do, Miss Kennedy. I never touched a boob before.
Wow. What are you gonna go that far?
Chrissy! Oh, I made a mess. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just telling you, as I said many years ago, the moment, you know, people within Lucasfilm and the press start talking about another creative or another person in administration that's able to do this, and Dave Filoni has been in administration at Lucasfilm for quite a while, in addition to writing, that's who you have to look at as a possible prime candidate for whoever's going to succeed Kathy. And I think it might be Dave, because if they do another woman, it might diminish Kathleen Kennedy as being the first woman longest running president of Lucasfilm.
You're not wrong. And it also
So it
sets him
can't
up
be
to be the
Dave?
fall guy.
So it has to be Dave. Yeah.
No, it has to be Dave, because then once he fails, they can blame it all on Dave.
Well, the only thing about that that gives me pause, and Script, I'm interested in your opinion on this. This is why I bring this up. Dave, obviously, he's got a lot of experience with Lucasfilm, a lot of experience doing animation, running a few TV shows now. Is he really the guy that you put in charge of a massive studio like Lucasfilm at Disney, or do you find a more business-oriented person and kind of make a co-chair out of Dave as complete creative control?
See, that's one option, but the fact of the matter is, in a normal studio setting, Dave Filoni wouldn't even be working in the mailroom.
Well, that begs the question: how do you name him his studio head of Lucasfilm at that point?
Well, when you see the track record of Lucasfilm over the last 15 years, you can see
This is true.
So you can see why. But no, I would not be surprised if again,
I was going to
Dave
say, are
Filoni
you
is
kidding?
not very
He's
creative.
overqualified. Yeah.
I can see Dave Filoni doing it and taking it completely on his own, because he's not creative enough. He's not a creative person who has to do it in the same way that Favreau does, or the same way that James Gunn does. But I can see him taking the full reins, but I could also see the more plausible aspect of, like, yeah, he'll be a co-head. At the very least, he'll be a co-head if they decide to go that route. And who they might bring in elsewhere, probably someone we've never even heard of yet, and it'll all be focused on Filoni. Might even be an appointee from whoever succeeds Bob Iger when that happens, because Bob Iger's not going to be in charge of Disney by the time Kathleen Kennedy
Who's
decides.
that other chick that Carrie keeps bringing? Or is it Carrie something that Kathleen
Well,
Kennedy keeps bringing?
Carrie Beck is one of her acolytes and story stuff, and she's on the Mandalorian. She
You
could
said
possibly
acolyte.
be.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
She could possibly be the next in line in some regards, but the thing is, she's only been mentioned very infrequently, and she isn't really getting a lot of traction inside the industry because she's so ingrained in what's going in the operations.
Well, and here's what I'm saying is like what I could see happening is okay. Dave could being set up as a fall guy in general, but just the same. I see when she retires, he becomes the de facto president. She becomes the head of creative, which he is right now. Is what I was thinking.
Well, I wondered about like the general manager, the one who's really running Lucasfilm day to day, and that Lynwen Brennan. I mean, she's the one I kind of thought I could see her taking the studio head as a look. You're the business manager, and then Dave is a co-chair. That's kind of what I've always, or somebody
like
else would be a co-chair.
Gun situation.
Yeah, like she's another option. Absolutely, I don't disagree with that at all.
Dave is bottom energy. You put someone
really
who is
Did you not
good.
just say but his energy on the bottom
CC's been on fire
powerful? Like, is he a power?
He's not
Oh, no,
on
no,
the
no.
bottom at all.
Okay,
But you put someone powerful on top of him, and he will
With that
he will
face-
do as they please.
Dave looks like he's constantly got one up his ass anyway.
we are going to hell. Okay,
I'm not, because I'm just speaking the goddamn truth. Dave
I like
Filoni-
if Dave Filoni has really strong leadership above him. I don't mind him being part of the crew because he will do as they say.
he is somebody who will be Kathy's puppet long after she's gone.
Yeah, I mean, he's already been her puppet for these past 10 years.
Because she can make shit happen. So I'm sure there's promises galore made. And he's getting exactly what he's probably been dreaming of for the last 2 decades.
I'm sure
I mean,
he's
it's
done
within his
plenty to get
grasp
there.
right now. Exactly. I mean,
He
good or
will-
bad, I'm not going to say.
Like,
But
he said it on video. He's a self-described Sith. He will do anything to get to the top. Anything.
that kind of
And I
reminds me of
don't
that whole-
hate everything he's done, but
that whole comment about Star
I wouldn't
Wars is
trust
not
him.
about good and bad. I'm like, what?
That was the worst thing. That was maybe the dumbest comment of the weekend.
And this is why actors are stupid.
Yes, yeah, it's not about good and evil or anything.
Yeah, because actors always want to play the grays. They always want to play both sides. They always have more fun playing
man.
evil than good. Granted, there always are exceptions to the rule because we are aware that there are a handful of actors out there that are not idiots.
Yeah.
But again, but the default setting is that's what you assume. Let them speak and prove you wrong. And I'd rather be proven wrong based on that assumption than constantly affirmed that I'm correct on it.
It was terrible. It was terrible.
And I hate to be the bearer of bad news on this business, but yeah, it is what it is, kids. Let's finish off Kathy's
Moving
ramblings
to
here,
what it
so the
is we're
script
going
can
to
get
be
out of here.
doing in a movie. As far as Charmaine, we've been working on that for a couple of years already.
See, there she says she's been working on
and
that for
with
a
what
couple
Jim's
years
doing,
already.
Jim and I, because we had the benefit of doing Indiana Jones together, there was a lot of discussion about what that story is. And so he's, what's great about Jim is he's a writer-director, much like Dave is. So he can move that along
like Dave.
at a pretty fast
Like
pace.
Dave.
So
It's like Dave.
everything's kind of moving along. We may have a really nice situation where we have all of these things ready to go. and
See,
we
because
can
that's the thing is
take our
she's
time
going out of
figuring
her way to
when we make
praise
them.
Dave.
Yeah, I mean,
too.
we'd like that to say. And I think Star Wars is kind of a genre unto itself at this point.
And
Are
this
there any
is
kind
just
of
goes
genres
into
though that you want to
stupid
play more
fucking
with
territory.
within Star Wars?
Well, I think we've been doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, George started that. So,
not that it hasn't been
specifically,
the whole
we're
time.
looking at Westerns with what Mandalorian is. Then Dave is very influenced by Kurosawa and Japanese films. And that I would say that influences the tone of Ahsoka probably more than it does with Mandalorian. And then Amblin movies, Goonies, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Those fun kid adventure stories. That's
Do
very
not
much
start a
influencing
drinking
Skeleton Crew.
game
And
with
then
Dave's
the spy
name in the
thriller
chat.
with
Y'all
Tony
will
Gilroy
die.
and Andor is very much in the vein of Bourne.
everybody's already
Things
going through a
like that.
fifth of vodka. The hell are you
very
talking
Don't
about?
make me be the adult.
No, you're so
in the
right. And
room.
I also want to ask about Donald
God
Glover recently
help
talked
us.
about the Lando series.
Right?
Can you give us any update on that? Is it still
Yeah,
happening?
yeah.
I can
Lando
just tell you
series
it's
is
still happening.
supposedly still
Yeah.
happening.
Very excited about
Lando system.
And that's the gist of it. Who fucking cares? The rest
There's
of it.
already
Yeah.
a great
God.
Lando film out there called Black Star Warrior. I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Made
Now, I
many
want-
years ago.
I want that one trailer we saw too. Really bad. Basically, I want Quentin Tarantino to make a Lando Calrissian film.
Well, that's Black Star Warrior essentially. Yeah.
I know it is. I remember you sent us that trailer a while back. Yeah.
Of course, Star Trek fan films got axed the moment they started getting better than the real thing.
Well, that's the
Well,
problem,
actually,
though,
that
isn't it?
wasn't it at all. It was because someone was exploiting the fan films to make money of their own off of.
I know it was about that. It's just it was at a point where they were becoming better than anything the network could actually put out.
Well,
writing wise, you might be right.
Oh, writing,
in certain respects, but like I don't know. And I'm one of those with Script Doctor. I'm not always the biggest of fan films, for many reasons. It's not anything personal. It's just
no. I hear you. I'm with you.
Oh, Disney's put out some awful ones lately.
Yes, they have. No, actually,
Yes,
Disney stuff that they put out is pretty much on par with the average fan
You're
film you
right.
get in those realms. Even the ones that are put out by like actors that make their own Star Wars fan films. Like the best Star Trek fan stuff has been continues.
Well, you're not wrong.
And there's been a couple of like James Cawley, who did New Voyages in Phase 2. He's done some pretty decent ones. In fact, one of them was written by Mark Zickery, who won a Hugo for it. So like they're here, they're out there. But the thing is, just like with regular Hollywood, there is way more bad than good.
Well, and the thing is with a lot of the fan films, and don't get me wrong, again, I'm not trying to say anybody's bad for liking them or making them or anything like that, but Script hit on the main point. 9 times out of 10, they're not really there to tell any interesting story. They're there to showcase something, whether it's somebody's acting ability, whether it's somebody's ability to design something, do some kind of special effect, what have you. 9 times out of 10, it's always built around that, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but that's also one of the main problems with the prequels. Is George built that whole idea around, I'm going to show off my new toy, basically. Like,
yeah.
First CGI character, completely replacing the actor.
Yeah. So, I mean, you have that as a crutch sometimes. But anyway, let's get into some of these super chats, and they're a little out of order. I apologize, guys.
Yeah, but you
got
guys
to
gotta
run
do
now?
that. I have to run now.
I
I
did.
have to go to the washroom and then get some other things
We did
done.
it.
But
All right.
have a wonderful
Take care of
show.
yourself,
Thanks
Script.
so much, everyone, for the super
All right,
chats. Please
yeah.
keep them coming, and we'll catch y'all later.
Oh, Script,
All right.
real quick. I still owe you a live show because the last one we invited you on is when you lost power for the whole night.
Oh God, yeah. Okay, yes.
I've totally forgot, like, since then to get back with you, but I just thought about it and I'm like, we'll hook up soon and we'll figure out a schedule.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, take care, everyone.
Cool deal.
Take care, guys. Or take care, Script. Mr. Buttcrack Meteor sends in a pooper sticker. Thank you so much for that. Final Smash 1689 says, between No Way Home and Top Gun 2, John Wick and Mario, it's clear to me people want to go to the theater, but the studios would rather pander than entertain. Appreciate all of you. Well, thank you, Final Smash. And actually, this reminds me of that post I made earlier that Valiant commented on, where a lot of people have had revisionist history, where I was on some streams and I said,
Oh, yeah.
if you go back to the video where we talked about it too, way back when, that the line I wrote in that video, despite what some other people may try to claim about what writing they did or not, but that's neither here nor there. The line I wrote is that the studios will find out they need the theaters a hell of a lot more than the theaters need them. And that is pretty darn clear, because if it wasn't for theaters, these movies wouldn't be hits. And these are the movies that are carrying the studios right now.
Yep.
And of course, Valiant, you were one of the people that knew exactly what I meant was theaters will adapt.
Yeah.
They will survive. They will find a way to move on.
150% agreed with you the moment you said it. I think we were on the main channel when you said it. I think we were on Midnight Edge in the morning.
Pretty sure.
And, oh, yeah. I was like, oh, totally,
Well, I've said
totally.
it many a times, but I put it in that video, and a lot of people gave a shit in that comment section. And I was on some other panel shows where people laughed at me and even mocked me to a point. I'm just like, all right, you guys wait and see. And I know you were one of the people that was on my side from the start, or at least
I was
in
covering
agreement with me. Agreement with me.
I was covering box office during that time. I mean, we knew exactly
and to
what
his
it was.
credit, Culture, who was here earlier, was another one too who agreed with me. He's like, oh,
yes,
yeah.
he was. Yeah. Yep. I mean, the writing was all over the wall. You could see it in the numbers, because at the same time Tom was saying that, the reason why I jumped in to agree with him so much is because by that point I had gotten into, at least on YouTube, I mean, I've been following it for a while, but I had gotten more into YouTube uncovering the financial side of streaming services. We were doing Disney earnings calls. We were doing all this. We could see what these streamers were actually pulling in. And when the losses started piling up, it was very obvious. Like, no, you cannot replace the theatrical window. You can't even replace the PVOD window. Look at the difference between some of these Disney films and say Sony
Yeah.
or a Lionsgate or a Universal that has Peacock, they even split the pay one window with Netflix and Amazon, but they still have a dedicated PVOD. Look at Puss in Boots. I mean, it went to PVOD after 17 days in the theater, and the box office still ran up to almost $500 million on that. And they sold a ton of those things on PVOD and physical media. I bought one. But Disney, it's like, no, 45 days, 60 days, it's on Disney Plus, and they release it on PVOD and physical media at the same time as Disney Plus. It's like, who would go spend $20 to download it on iTunes or rent it for $8 on iTunes or Amazon, or go spend $25 to buy the physical media or whatever it is, when almost 50 million American households have Disney Plus subscriptions right now? They just go watch it on there for free. It's stupid. You've got to use the theaters. You've got to use the dedicated windows like they used to have. That was never in doubt. But yeah, Hollywood studios and distributors felt like, well, we've got our own, powerhouse streaming services that we're trying to build. Wall Street had a hard-on for subscriber building at that point, and it just didn't work. It didn't work at all, and you could see the writing on the wall. That's it. I mean, it was. Yeah, everybody knows it now.
It's pretty obvious because that's where a lot of their income was coming from. And it was kind of like the whole thing we were talking about with Wakanda Forever, and there's a few people still trying to die on that hill too, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
That they're still trying to hedge the whole thing because it's like, yeah, it grossed $200 and some million. It's like, no, it didn't.
No, it didn't.
No.
And they're like, yes, it did. And they show the article, and it's like, yeah, but if you notice in the article, they also say that, what was it, 170 some million of
whatever
that
it was, Disney paid itself. And
Disney
to be fair,
paid itself. Which, yes, there does some money that comes in from subs. That was some of the response to me bringing that up. I'm like, yeah, but at the same time, they're still losing money in that transaction. So maybe it washes itself. But at the end of the day, if I take a $10 bill and put it in my other pocket, I don't have $20 now.
Right, that's what I've been telling people.
In my other pocket.
That's exactly what I've been telling people. It's like moving the money from the right pocket to the left pocket doesn't make it up. And the other thing I keep telling people is I mean, they're really not making money on the streaming. People don't really understand.
That's what
they're
the
12,
big fucking hubbub is about right now, right?
They're 12 Disney Plus, because that represents like 90% of the losses they're reporting, if not all of them. Hulu, as far as we know, is profitable. ESPN Plus, as far as we know, is profitable or at least break even. Disney Plus is what's consuming all the oxygen. If you look at the losses in streaming since Disney Plus began, it's $12 billion with a B dollars in the hole. And that's because every quarter, the reason they're losing $1 billion a quarter right now is because they're cutting these $170 million checks over from Disney Plus's credit card to Marvel Studios or to Lucasfilm to make season 3 of The Mandalorian, for example. Stuff like that. This is what keeps running up the bills, by and large.
And then you got the other side of it, which is funny, I've noticed now, is they all, of course, said that we're going to start, licensing this shit out. It's not going to be such proprietary anymore. But they're just licensing it out to each other. Okay? So
more or less.
So really, at the end of the day, nobody's making any fucking money. Like, this is where I hate monopolies. But Andre is right I didn't really think about it that way until he brought it up that one day. And because I always looked at Netflix as like, a business like any other business. Everybody should be able to have their own business and compete. But in this case, you couldn't look at Netflix like a business so much as it is a format, right? And since it is now a format, it is competing with Blu-ray and DVD. What you did basically, and Andre got this so right, was when they decided we're going to do Disney Plus, we're going to do HBO Max, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, all these different streaming services, you basically decided to not just bring in beta and versus VHS, or to be more recent, HD DVD versus Blu-ray. You're bringing in 10 different fucking formats into this format war now.
Yep.
Right? So this is like every studio deciding at one time going, you know what? We're going to have our own proprietary means of you having to watch this, and you have to do it this way. And that is what killed it. Yeah, part of it is this whole idea of the people adapting to it and this, that, and the other. No, the big thing is at the end of the day, and this is what I said this before, it only worked if you kept your subscribers and you kept them at a higher price, because the only way, and this is why HBO Max is probably the only one that's brought in any kind of revenue, and I don't know if they have or not, Valiant, you can correct me if I'm wrong, at the end of the day, is because they have the higher price range, and that price range is priced perfectly, because like I said, they're guaranteeing that it's the same as if you went out and bought that Blu-ray or DVD.
You're
So
talking
one
about,
movie a month.
You're talking about
Right.
HBO?
Yes. So whatever new movie
Yeah.
they were dropping that month is amortized by that. It's like they're getting more people who would have watched Wonder Woman 84 on HBO Max than would have ever went out and bought that fucking movie on Blu-ray.
Well,
right? So in that case, they made some money in that respect, but they lost the money on the theatrical side of things.
They did, yeah. Well, of course, HBO Max it's an adjacent to HBO, which has been a very profitable
That's the other
system for years.
Yeah, so
40
that's the other
years
thing too,
now.
but
HBO Max, when you look at their revenue per user, HBO Max's revenue per user is like roughly 3 times that of Disney Plus. It's night and day. If Disney Plus had the RPU of HBO Max, they'd be making $1 billion a quarter instead of losing $1 billion a quarter. I mean, HBO Max's RPU, I think in their core subs, it was like maybe $12 as opposed to Disney's 5-ish, so maybe 2.5 times, something like that. I've got to go back and pull up the numbers. I just can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, I mean, HBO Max it's at least a break even for them, if not a revenue driver. Disney is obviously trying to get to that point, and that's what everybody needs to realize is that
one
it ain't staying $8.99. It's going to
Exactly.
be the premium subscription for Disney Plus within the next maybe 3 to 5 years. It'll be at $15.99 right with HBO Max. I promise you.
And the most telling thing to me is that even with HBO probably being one of the more monetarily successful ones of the bunch, even then they still never abandoned home video, right?
Right.
What they still are even saying now that they're going to re-up a lot of that.
Yeah.
And they're celebrating their 100 years. They're dropping a lot of movies. So like that's the kind of thing that all the studios have come back and said the same thing. And that's what we were saying from the very, 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 very start.
Yep.
So
with the exception of we'll call it the year of Jason Kilar in 2021. Yeah. Because he's the one that screwed the world. That's why he was the first guy that Zaslav fired. So anyway.
Well, and what's sad is a lot of what he did, he had the right ideas until he got to that. Right? Like that was the one just like that don't make no sense.
Yeah.
You just sunk these films. Like, what are you doing? But anyway, thank you so much, Final Smash. I didn't really anticipate going on that long, but I think you got your $10 worth.
Damn right.
Mega J says MCU is moving full steam ahead, absolutely, with no end in sight. Ruben Christopher's in the house. How you doing, buddy? Has been a Congo level member for 15 months. It says the Emperor just does not have clothes. The cognitive dissonance of current society is causing harm. Thanks for reviewing this eye cancer. It made me sick, literally. For me, I am on Rumble now. #plug. Oh, cool. Yeah, I got to get this all set up for Rumble. I finally got the Midnight's Edge logo on the Rumble thing. I just got to figure out how to stream and multi-stream or whatever to it. I know Andre's got some plans for Rumble as well. Doug1985 says, I'm glad I'm not a Star Wars fan. My first introduction to it was the Ewok movies. I liked them more than the OG ones. Hey, I was a kid. After that, they just never grew on me. That's understandable, and I see where you're coming from there. As a young kid, those movies are very accessible. But John Thomas says, I completely blacked it out, but it was the old lady talking to Ray, the same old lady that told Annie to get inside before the sandstorm. That is not the same lady, is it? No. That lady's dead by now, I imagine. I don't think they're meant to be the same person. That could be news to me, though. Let's see here. Waddle D's Nuts says, hey, Pablo, if you're taking notes, how about this? We have a green milk scene with Grogu and Rey, and the nutrition instantly gives him her training. There you go. And then Valiant, you were saying something about Pablo here in the private chat if you wanted to address it, since he's been brought up.
Yes, Pablo's watching.
Because he's your best buddy, right?
I mean, I I can't. I had to show you because I'm like, what did I tell you? This is the crap I'm dealing with. Is from I don't know where this nut job crap started, but yeah, apparently me and WDW Pro we're getting all of our information from Pablo Hidalgo, and we're on Lucasfilm's payroll, and oh my god, it's you guys have
because
made
you guys
my
had
week
a Twitter
with that.
exchange.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because we had a Twitter exchange like for an hour and a half, like 2 months ago.
I better know who that is.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Anyhow.
God, I'm gonna go get me some Kool-Aid.
Some kids. I'm not getting involved in this.
No, I saw it in chat. I'm like, because I was trying not to bust out laughing when I saw it.
I got
It just, yeah. Anyway,
Everything about the chat is awesome right now.
Robert Kitchick says, "You mean the hat with Pete? That was Filoni? Oh, I thought that was a special effect. It was a special effect without a story." It's a deep cut there. Mecha J says Filoni is a hack, plain and simple. I agree. Waddle These Nuts says, sounds like Filoni is channeling Brandon for a second. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
We got Mr. Buttcrack Media again with a pooper sticker, unless I grabbed it twice. Either way, twice is nice. Mexican Iron Man says, whatever the extent of the Civil War, it is clear to me our side lost. Yeah, it seems to be that way, at least at Disney, but maybe they'll be left in the dust by the other studios. Mexican Iron Man also says this biatch is freaking narcissistic liar and guilty of committing multiple cultural felonies and is guilty of murder of Star Wars franchise. Ring the bell. Which bell? This bell?
Yeah. Chalupa.
Chalupa. Shame, convict. Yes. We should have the conviction of Kathleen Kennedy and Dave Filoni. He's also convinced that Brian Johnson and Dave Filoni have banged this chick. Oh! Dave, frack my life.
Jeez.
Again, I don't know if they would know what to do with a naked chick if they got one in front of them. Just saying. Mecha J says, hashtag Tom was right. I can deal with that. Darius is sending us a super sticker. Let me see what it is. Probably a thumbs up, but I want to make sure. Oh, it's actually some salt. Ooh, sending some salt our way. Here we go. Thank you so much for all those guys. And now we're up to speed on those. Let me double check if there was any member chats I may have missed in the background here. We've got, I think we got them all. Oh, we got this one from Mikey though. 23 months. Go CC go. So fired up that I have a new mead rant. Buddy, burn it down. CC fire.
Dude, the Dave comments in the chat are killing me.
I know.
This is so.
Reading
It's been going on for 15 minutes. This is amazing. Wow. You guys out there are incredible.
Killer Dave from outer space. Dave Filoni is Star Wars. The Star Wars is Dave Filoni. I mean, he's just so amazing. I wish she just fucking up and married Dave already. I mean, Christ almighty. Leave me alone for 5 minutes. That way I can get it out of my system and be like, hey, Dave, I'm not jealous. I just wish she'd act upon it. So I didn't have to deal with her no more. Seriously. I'm going back to the bathroom to snort some coke. Congo! And there he goes. He's been quiet. I think he's been away shooting Indiana Jones, though. That's why.
Like literally? Oh my god.
Hey, motherfucker, we only shot him in the kneecap.
Or the shoulder.
Whatever, I don't give a shit. He's gonna do the thing, dance monkey dance. Okay.
I cannot believe the chat is still coming up with these. It's been almost 20 minutes solid, and I haven't seen one of them repeat. I haven't seen one of them repeat yet.
Dave and Kathy make a porno.
Y'all are
shit. That's probably the winner right there.
Oh, Dave in, Dave out. There we go.
Wasn't there just that movie called Dave about the gay guy?
You mean
I think that was the president.
Kevin Costner was the
Oh,
yeah
it was the
yeah.
Not Kevin
it was one about
Costner.
Not Kevin
president.
Costner. Kevin
Kevin
Kline.
Kline.
Kevin Kline.
In the mouth of Dave.
I'm sorry, Yellowstone. Forgive me.
Yeah, Yellowstone would have been way different with Kevin Kline in it.
Oh Jesus God! I don't
Should we
even want
kill
to.
him? I don't know. What do you think? Should we kill him? Yes, we should.
Let's
No,
not.
maybe no. I don't know. I can't do it very.
Is the entire chat sitting on IMDb right now, pulling up
Yes,
movie titles
just
and doing
going
this?
through titles.
How is this happening?
I can't
this is
stop the
great.
wave.
Oh my God!
In the
It's
name of
so
Dave.
funny, y'all.
The good,
I
the
love
bad,
it.
And the Dave.
The
Anyhow.
Daves must flow. Yes, I see you, Yakimino.
Anyhow,
Midnight's Edge after Dave.
There you go.
should we wrap this up, guys? What do you say?
Yeah, I got to get on to some other stuff.
Yeah.
This has been a blast.
There is no Toxic Tuesday tonight, sadly, but we will return next week
Oh, no, not
with
killed
one of
it
my
off.
favorite films. Yeah, he has. That's why he wasn't here tonight. He had to deal with some stuff, but that's all right.
Ooh,
Hopefully,
okay.
everything works out for him and he gets it all figured out. But yeah, Nick will be back next week with one of my favorite films. Coming up though.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought that was tonight.
I gotta
No,
I gotta
tonight
say
was
this
supposed
one
to
more.
be,
I'm sorry. I gotta say this one. Stop, or my Dave will simp.
There you go.
Come on,
Dear says,
man.
I was listening at the bar and grill tonight. I had a Sicilian pizza script vindicated my opinion on Ahsoka. Well, thank you, dearest, and hopefully you enjoyed that pizza. And then Gola82 says, can we just call this Dave stuff Filoniism? Oh, I like that. I might have to adapt that. But no, this week's movie was supposed to be. I know Valiant will get this one. Are you gonna bark all day? Or are you gonna bite?
Oh yeah, Reservoir Doggies. That's right.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
What do you,
Michael
Doggy part just to
Madsen,
give it away.
Had to
Yeah.
cancel
You
it,
gonna
huh?
bark all day, little
Mr.
doggy?
Blonde,
You gonna
Michael
bite?
Madsen.
What'd you say to me? I said, are you gonna bark all day, little doggy?
Throws the cup.
Are you gonna bite?
See, I even know the stage direction.
I'm fucking dying, man. You're not dying.
I'm sorry,
with
are you
me
a doctor?
now.
Are you a doctor? I didn't know you were a doctor.
I'm not fucking dying. Say it with me.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, and free snow dub from Twitter suspension.
Yeah, what the
Oh
fuck
yeah.
happened?
what-
Snow?
how did what?
I saw
I mean,
that. What the fuck, man?
Okay, I mean, I know it's Snow Dub, and you know he kind of tends to get a little on the edge there. I don't know what was it, Dub. What was the?
What'd you do?
Yeah, what was the deal?
What'd you do? Because I'm sure it was somebody else provoking you, and or you meant something completely different, and the algorithm is like, banned.
Yeah, it's probably something like, "Well, I told Joe Biden to suck my dick." You know, it's like, it's like, oh well, that'll, you know.
Oh Lord! Now I'm shut down.
Yeah,
He
there
put
we
it in the
go.
chat. He put it in the chat.
What did he say? Where is it?
Right there.
Oh, it hasn't come up yet for me. I don't think.
Oh wait, look.
This thing takes forever.
It says, okay, I told Hillary Clinton to take a long walk off a tall building.
I saw that, but I thought you were kidding. Oops.
I mean,
He's inciting violence.
it'd been funnier, Snowdub, if you'd said, a long walk off the top of Trump Tower.
That's only violent. Well, it's only violence if she lands on somebody. I mean, really, if you think about it. I mean, because she's not hurting anybody but herself, and you're not inciting anybody to hurt anybody but her.
Joe Biden would have forgotten he'd fallen by the time he hit the ground.
Hey, well, how the fuck did I get here, man? Come on, man. I fell upstairs again. God dang.
They're still going with the Dave stuff. How is this
One of these nuts says Filoni, bigger, longer, and uncut.
Oh my God! This is the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
David Dummer.
A YouTube
Victor
chat
Von
do
Dave
in
Cock.
2 years. I mean, this has been going on over 20 minutes. 25 minutes. I don't even know.
That. They can
This
keep
is-
going into the comments section after the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, everybody out there listening, when we end the stream here in just a minute, keep going with this because those comments below this video will help drive it to bigger audiences. So please keep commenting with all the Dave stuff.
Make Dave cry
after we close out. Keep this up. Like, if you've already posted the titles in the live chat, post them again under the video. How about that's your mission tonight, chat? Do that. Make sure you hit that like button before we leave too.
Yes, please, Dave the Dave button, as Dr. Prophet says. So where do we leave off here? CC, what do you got going on?
Just the usual Friday night karaoke on my channel after the Late Show with Mexican Iron Man on Fridays.
Hoorah.
The world's best YouTuber.
Indeed.
That guy is one
He is
YouTube
the
son
best.
of a bitch.
But he's not a YouTuber.
But he plays one on YouTube.
But he
He's the best of us.
But he plays one on YouTube. I like that. Yep.
He's got a PhD in YouTubing.
Yes, he does.
Valiant, what do you got coming up?
Did a video this morning talking about some of the stuff from Star Wars Celebration with Pro and I. Pro has, and I can't spill anything yet, obviously, but he's got another big thing coming on Thursday on his live show, and the Pro show that kicks off about 2 hours before MEAD right here on Thursday, and he is going to spill the beans on the first part of this big piece of news he's gotten his hands on. The second part will be on Renegade Online on Sunday on our live show over there. So
Does
stay
it
tuned.
have anything to do with pizza?
Maybe. Not. I'm sorry, I didn't know what to go with that.
You just heard the soul leave my body, right?
Oh, I know. Well, no, the soul left your body when they said Seth Rogen and TMNT in the same sentence. See? I knew that.
Yeah, it just made a piece of my brain hurt. It's a shooting pain. Shooting pain.
No, thank you to everybody out there. We're about, actually, I just looked a little while ago. I think we're about 10 subs away from 22,000.
Nice.
So thank you, everybody out there, to this wonderful audience, this wonderful chat, this wonderful community, and love to everybody.
You're a bunch of lovely sons of bitches, you are.
Yes. Now go subscribe, you fuckers.
Yeah. Like what he said. That's Sean Connery there. You got to do what he says.
That's right.
What do you got coming up, Clobby?
Well, the usual stuff. I think Loki and I are going to have the comic book round table tomorrow night at 7. I'm not really sure. We usually do on Wednesday nights, and I'll have my wild card Wednesday night at 9 p.m. tomorrow night, and of course Thursday night the clubhouse with Raquel and Mark D. Of course, that's always a great fun time. And then I'll be on with Nicholas and the gang if he's still having his comic shop show Friday night. I guess he is. We'll be reviewing Jim Starlin's Adam Warlock run, and of course Saturday night Star Trek. As always, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're reviewing all of real Star Trek. I'll have 4 more episodes of Deep Space Nine this weekend. And thanks for having me, buddy. I really appreciate it, and thank you to the chat. What a great chat we had tonight.
Of course.
And you guys on the panel.
Yeah. And with that, keep the titles coming, kids, into the wee hours of the day. And we will catch you on the morning show. I will be there bright and early and late as always. Nikki D says, what does the Marvels need to make in the theaters to break even or make a profit? It's a 200 or 250 budget. What is that, Valiant? I got to imagine it's 250.
The Marvels? Oh, we don't know what the budget is yet, but I mean, it's like it's got to be like what we've seen before, and the fact that we obviously know they went into reshoots, and we obviously know that the reshoots are never included in these stated budgets, which a lot of times they aren't. 250 minimum. It's got to be. It's got to be. So I mean, it's. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, to break even. I thought you said. I'm sorry. Looking at too many things. 250 on the production budget. Throw in another. I mean, they spend about 150 a pop.
It's got to make $1 billion.
I don't know, but quite $1 billion. I was going to say maybe around 800.
You're being nice.
It depends. We until we see what the production budget is for this. I mean, like if Marvel comes out and says, "Well, the production budget was 200," all right, it's 250 because they pulled this back in for a month plus of reshoots. That's why they switched it out to November.
Well, we already know what was Wakanda Forever 250.
Wakanda was 250. I don't remember hearing anything about a lot of major reshoots on that one. So I was comfortable with saying fine. I honestly don't know where the hell the 250 went in that freaking movie because it looked like ass. So I don't know. I mean, it was almost a 3-hour film, so that's probably where the 250 went.
That and we got to remember how much these actors cost. That's the thing.
Well, but let's be honest. Apart from Angela Bassett, who the hell were they paying in that film?
Well, that's just it. I mean, a lot of these actors on their contracts, they get the next one up, and like they were already planning on Shuri kind of taking over before.
Yeah.
The tragedy, but
you just had, and I know they weren't on screen, but let's make this realistic for the audience. You just had Chris Pratt, Charlie Day, Anya Taylor-Joy, Jack Black, in what is probably going to be in contention for being the biggest film of the year, and that movie cost $100 million. That's half the price of Lightyear.
That was their voices, but
half the price of Lightyear. Did they?
I don't know where they spent that money.
Yeah, where did all that money go?
Up Chris Pratt's nose, apparently, Chris Evans's nose. Excuse me, Lightyear. Wrong Chris. Yeah.
Too many Chris's.
Too many Chris's, bro.
You hear that, Chris? Get out of here.
Yeah. I was still going with the Dave stuff.
I'm thinking between the cast that's in the Marvels, because we know Brie Larson is probably making a cool 10 or 15 million.
I'd say that's about right. I'd say that's about right.
Because she got $5 million for the first one, and I think it doubles every time they're in one of these movies. And so she got probably about 10 for Endgame, and this would be her $15 probably $1 million payday or more. The chick from the TV series probably lucky to get maybe $1 million. But what's her face playing Monica Rambeau? I bet you she's getting about $2 to $5 million.
Maybe
Samuel L. Jackson's making bank.
He's making bank. Sam Jackson
he has a deal with them. I don't know how much.
He should be the highest paid actor in that film.
He's not, unfortunately. I bet. How much you want to bet it's Brie Larson?
Really?
That's depressing.
Because I mean, he has a special deal with them, and that's where they get away with it.
She wasn't even allowed to carry her own sequel.
Yeah.
Which isn't even really a sequel.
I've never heard his salary, but I can't imagine. Because I know he's worked a deal out with Marvel years ago. Because the whole original deal with them using his likeness in the comics was, okay, as long as I get to play him whenever you guys do live action versions of it. Like, that was their deal, and I think he made whatever his contract was early on. So I've no idea. He might get close, but I don't know if it's that much. I bet you he's in the 5 to 10 million range. Of course, he's not a frontliner in the movie through the whole thing that we know of yet either. We don't know. I don't know. What did he get for Captain Marvel? That'd probably be the one that he got paid the most for.
I don't know. I have to look it up.
Maybe him and her both got a $5 million payday. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, he's getting the same amount as her. It's right there, just with the cast. That's 30, 40, $50 million just right there.
Mm-hmm.
Plus all the ancillary folks. No, I think this movie's a bit more expensive than we probably think.
I'd carry Brie if I don't have to deal with her afterwards.
Yeah. But anyhow, with that, we are out of here. Thanks for being here, kids. Right. Hit that like button. Find these guys' channels. The links should be in the description, except for maybe Valiant's. I think I'll have to add that in there, but it might be in the...
No big deal.
I got a bunch of them in there.
Peoples can find me and stuff.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah,
take care of yourselves and each other. See ya.
See you. See you.
You did it. You crazy son of a bitch. You did it.